Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome back to Rise and Shine College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. I'm here with my special guest, Eric Cooper from Unfair Sports. And on the phone with us right now is Stat Guy from Fan Attic Sports Network. Welcome into the show, fellas. How we doing?
Man, it's my birthday week. We got some good news. I feel coming down the pike. Birthday is Sunday, and let's do this. Let's see. I want to see the chat. Hey, how old am I? Because this always throws people for a tad bit of a loop. So,
He's like a buck.
but
Young buck and shit, probably 28, 29.
Jason, I'll stab you. It's my balls dropped more than 10 years ago. But I just no, turning 42 this Sunday, and Sandlin 39. Everybody always says around 38, 39. And if I shaved everything off, I mean, I might get like 30. So pretty cool. But no, it's good stuff, man. Happy Independence Day tomorrow.
Heck yeah, man. It's a big day. Always love Independence Day, July 4th. It's a big time for everybody. Hey, it's a big week for everybody. Coop, I know you and I, but being Sooner fans, we were in here the other morning whenever got on there, and actually Stat Guy jumped in with us to talk about it a little bit. It's just, how have you been feeling about how did you like the whole, celebration and everything that kind of came from that? Are you excited about this as much as I am, or?
Man, I'm excited just because, like I said on our show, I wanted to go to ESPN.com and NCAAF, and then go to teams, and then under SEC it says Oklahoma. I was just tired of seeing Oklahoma still back under the Big 12. Now I got to scroll all the way to the bottom, but you know what?
Yeah.
It just my scrolling flex is getting stronger. So, but yeah, no, just going down there, and it was kind of exciting to see Utah and Arizona and all the other new cats in the Bless Your Heart conference too, because that's kind of a fun thing. But man, the engagement and everything. I mean, the Oklahoma, look at the NFL. Everybody always talks about the NFL, about how great the NFL does in staying in the news 24/7, 365, right?
Right.
That's what the marketing team and Joe C and the university and President Harris, that's what those guys were doing. It's not the fact that we're trying to shove it in the Big 12 space or anything, because I'll be the first one to say that I'm going to have Jake Merrill on Sunday with me. And, Jason, if you want to hop on too, I want to probably bring you on too. But
Sure.
There are great memories of the Big 12, and you can't, you don't have to live in your past. Yeah, you don't have to live in your past, but still, here it is. So, yeah, it's going to be, it was kind of a cool thing to see, both universities go out and show out. And obviously, it was a big news piece. I mean, with, SEC guy and Paul Feinbaum, and, the front page of ESPN.com was that. So, OU stayed relevant and really, really, really leaned in and got an opportunity to engage the fan base in the middle of July. So this is a dead time of the year. So it was a great thing for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, I mean, and it was funny because one of the first things that Stat asked me whenever he came into the show that day he was like, it feels like it's been forever, hadn't it? And it really does, I mean, it really hadn't been that long, but if you think about it, when they announced this, a lot of shit has happened in between now and that time, right? And wanted to say hello to everybody in the chat here. Benjamin Cisco, welcome into the show. Boomer129, Coach Ricks, Kimberly K, good to see you in here again. Wiley Litchford, Benji, Sooner in Texas. Who else we got? Jay Fez, Sheila Smith. Hello, welcome in, Sheila. Brian Sandlin. Who else we got? Mars Jams. All right. So everybody check in when you get here. We appreciate everybody popping in to see us. If you haven't already hit that like button, make sure that you do. And hey, share us with somebody else that wants to talk a little bit SEC football. We're going to go through the SEC schedule for the entire season, kind of pick out the best game of the week, best couple of games of the week. We only have Stat for just a little bit, so I kind of want to jump in with him a little bit first. But I would agree with what you guys are talking about. I think that Joe C did, I loved his little jab at Lincoln Riley. That was very well done. Talking about how important it was and how everybody was on board with the SEC and the coaches that weren't are no longer here. So, in other words, use a little.
Jason, I was going to add to that. I think it's really important, big picture wise. You and Texas were always going to end up somewhere. Y'all definitely weren't going to be Oregon State or Washington State and left out of a boat. But you're locked in now. We all see it coming. It's going to turn into the Big Ten and SEC, whether it's 40 teams or 60 teams, whatever it is. It's going to be two powerhouse conferences that run college football. And now y'all locked in. There's no sweating. If the Pac-12 starts to fold, you're not wondering, do we go Big Ten? Do we go SEC? Y'all can sit back and relax and just eat popcorn and enjoy the show now as the Big 12 and ACC slowly come to their demise over the next 2 years.
Well, and I think that, I would agree that it's kind of like that. I wouldn't say that. What's up there? Shawty Parker from Fan Attic Sports. Just my damn opinion. Don't hear you, man. I think you're muted.
How you guys doing, man?
What's up with you? Good to see you, man. Hey, check him out. It's got a crispy camera and everything else with the RTH going. What's up with you? How you doing?
Man, I'm going to try to hop on here for a little while before I get on the road, man, and head to work.
Okay. Well, yeah, and just that to answer your question, I agree with what you're saying, and I think that, we've kind of talked about this ad nauseum. It's kind of tough to tell what's going to happen. It doesn't seem like the SEC is big on moving, adding a bunch of teams right now, and I don't know that you really have to because here's the thing with ESPN owning the SEC, and you're starting to hear a lot more of that stupid. And people are saying it's not a big deal, but we didn't think it was a big deal before with the academics and the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and all that kind of stuff either, and it was. So a lot of these folks that are saying that kind of stuff, I don't know that right now FSU and Clemson are as in good a place as they think they are as far as being able to. They're going to have to hope that the lawsuit goes through for that to break apart this early. Now, unless ESPN was to just decide that this isn't a great deal that's going through 2036 and we got on the cheap, we're just going to go ahead and kill it in 2027. I tend to doubt that that's going to happen, guys. I think they're going to have to take it to court. They're going to have to cough up a big bunch of cash. And I also don't think that either one of these big conferences, the big two, are looking to expand, at least right now, because right now you'd be diluted. You'd be diluting, the money. They're not going to add money to it. They're already having a hard time getting money to add to it, just to add games. So I have a hard time believing that it is happening this second, but I do think that we're definitely headed down a whole new avenue, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. And yeah, if you're Oklahoma and Texas, you kind of set this thing off, as far as the newest alignment of it, it was right about a year later that USC and UCLA jumped. And I tell you, to me, and I'm with you. I covered the Big 12 for an awful long time. And I've covered some SEC, but I covered more Big 12 than anything else. At multiple newspapers as a, freelance guy, did a lot of it. And I'll tell you, you get to loving it, but there was things that you could see all the way back to Dan Beebe that this thing was coming apart. It kind of surprises me that it stayed together as long as it did. But once it got to that point and, that they weren't expanding, they weren't being able to get Fox to move any games, you could just kind of see where this was headed. And the fact is, once you start losing good programs, and the conference was suffering and they weren't really doing anything about it. And this is really, had Brett Yormark come along 10 years ago, maybe things are different, but they're not. And so at this point, you got to be happy with where you're headed. You don't want to be anywhere but the best conference in the country. You're going to get probably the most bids to the CFP. If you got the team to get there, you're gonna have the best opportunity. So I'm excited about it myself. This has been a big week for us, but definitely wanted to get you guys' opinion on from week to week what's the best games as far as you guys are concerned. And we'll kind of go ahead and go to that. Welcome into the show, Cole Satterfield, Eric Reherd, Christopher Shannon. TV contracts for 7 years. That's right. So we're talking about early, 2030s before you're really going to start seeing any movement. I think. I could be wrong. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I have any real inside information. I talk to the same people you do. If you really want to know kind of what's happening, I think the best at this stuff are the college football mafia guys. Big 12 Mafia, College Football Mafia, that's what they do. So, but I just don't. I mean, it's going to change every day, and it got so ugly with the Pac-12 stuff. I was off it. Benji, thanks for coming in as well. Let's see. All right, guys. Jimmy Satterfield, thank you for coming in. All right, let's go with. I already got this here. Let me change this brand up a bit. Boom. All right. So, SEC 2024 with Texas and Oklahoma. Shawty, what do you think about the new? Well, what do you think about the new league with these guys added to it, man? Are you excited about this? You're muted, bro. Or maybe you are.
No, still muted, Shawty.
It's not showing him muted though.
I know.
I don't know.
I would mimic his voice, but he's got a pretty badass voice, and so
hey,
thank you. He
pop
would
right
say,
back in, Shawty.
Yeah, do that.
Pop right back in. Try see if it'll work because it did last time.
Hey, while you're trying that, and I do want to say, like, OU and Texas were minutes away from joining the Pac-12, a few years back, and I think that is a narrow escape. I mean, whatever it's cinema, TV shows, anything, and where you see to where like just the glimmer of time that if it would have passed, it would have been crazy for that to have happened. That would have been absolutely nuts because I think that just extends the problem of the Big 12 because. I mean, you look at it now. I mean, that it's just piss poor leadership. I mean, out of the Pac-12,
terrible.
And so, yeah. I mean, listen, it's Sankey. Sankey seems to be the man that knows what he's doing. The best. And when it comes to this TV contract, these networks are even going to be the ones that a lot of pressure is on these networks: ESPN, CBS, NBC, with streaming stuff because. The streaming is still not, and I come from a TV background. So if you're like, was you just making this crap up? No, I mean, I was selling TV commercials and slinging TV commercials, just a year ago. But it is going to be a continuation, and we're going to have to see maybe a streaming network come out of the SEC or Big Ten. That idea is going to have to get launched here too, because I really feel like depending on TV revenue is a scary place for every single one of these conferences because the times are changing.
Yeah, because if you can't keep up, then you're definitely not going to. I mean, if you're $40-50 million behind the big boys, how long is it going to take you to get so far behind that it just doesn't even matter? Coach I talked about it a bunch, and welcome into the show, Coach I. Good to see you, my man.
What's going on, fellas?
Man, we're just talking a little bit about, obviously for us OU guys, we're still pretty pumped up about the, being new to the SEC and everything, man. It's good times. But we're talking about just kind of the differences and what we see coming down the pike. And I know one of the first times you were on the show with us, man, you got the Big 12 guys really a little irked with you, but it's not really wrong. I think you are going to end up with two
super
major programs at some point. Whenever that is, but definitely not getting the toothpaste back in the tube. You know what I mean?
Right. That's been my contention this whole time. 2 super conferences. It just looked like that was where it is. And when I first came on your show, it wasn't even about who was good as far as on the field, and it's about brands. It's about money at the end of the day. And with OU and Texas, 2 blue bloods joining. You can make your argument each individual year, but overall the best conference in college football. And then you got the Big Ten adding teams. Now Clemson and Florida State look like they're making moves to get out. I mean, think about that, man. Big 12, no OU, Texas, ACC, no Florida State and Clemson. I mean,
it's wild.
It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before there's just 2.
No doubt. Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, and that's the thing. It's just a lot of things are coming apart as to what we're used to seeing, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. Hey man, let's talk about the fun stuff. I mean, this is I was asking Shawty, and I think he's back with us. Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me?
I got you now. Asked you the question, and I'll ask you, and then I'll let I'll let Coach I answer it as well. But what do you think about this new league as you see it here? Coming up for this year, Shawty.
I'm loving it, man, because I think it's just only added to the moniker of the SEC being the toughest conference. So I'm really loving it, and the anticipation, man, is just through the roof with me because I'm really interested to see what Oklahoma and Texas has to bring to the conference, mainly because Texas get most of the credit, most of the shine, most of the light. And now that I hear from the OU fans say that they're generally the better team. So I really don't know. This is all new to me. So I'm really excited for all of it, especially the traveling part, the tailgating and all of that. So yeah, man, I'm gung-ho for it. I'm ready to see what these two teams are going to do. And I think it makes the storyline even better that both of those two teams are coming in probably top 6 in the conference.
Hey, and Shawty, so I did some math the other day because if you want to count, pre-color TV and stuff like that, that's where a lot of Texas wins, happen. But Missouri over the past, I think it was 10 or 11 years, is 1 or 2 games worse than Texas's record. So if you need a good comparison and you got a good feel of Missouri over the past decade, that's going to give it to you. You just messed around and won, 10 conference championships. So if you're talking, when you talk Texas, you got to think Dallas Cowboys because it is marketability and hype, not.
Hold on, it won't be no Cowboy slander on the channel.
Hey, no, listen, dude. I'm a marketing guy. I'm just saying that Dallas Cowboys, and my wife is a Cowboys fan, and I'm a Broncos fan, so I don't even know what football is in Denver currently. But
did we just meet or something, bro? Because I slander them motherfuckers all the time.
I'm a big Cowboy fan.
Yeah, dude, Dallas Cowboys are great at marketability. They are the most profitable franchise in the NFL. That's not wrong.
No doubt.
But that marketability,
big old dumpster fire.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. But that brand is not known for winning currently. Now they ran the 90s and they had it all together. But when it comes down to Texas football, I mean, that's your best comparison is, Texas is back equals winter is coming. Like, how long does that last? 7 seasons, 8 seasons, 9 seasons? And then once it's back, it's very, very underwhelming, like the end of Game of Thrones.
I'll put it to you like this. We'll just leave it here. The Big 12 has been in existence for 28 years. Oklahoma won 14 of the conference championships. Closest to them is Texas at 4. So
with the win this year.
The numbers don't lie. The numbers just don't lie. It is what it is. They won 7 of the last 10, 5 of the last 6.
Like I say, it's new to me. So I generally can only go off the last few years. So that's why I'm so excited about it. Because I literally don't have all this history that you guys have. That's what makes it so exciting for me.
It's just like with you guys, though. Last week, Coach I, first thing he says, man, we want to piss on Florida if they were on fire. So it's kind of the same way that we feel.
No, I think you guys are way more intense because we only really take shots at Florida here and there. You guys do it every single day.
But Florida's like Florida
compliment because we hate them.
Yeah, like with you guys. I mean, your Georgia doesn't look at Florida right now as a threat or a rival because they're just not on your level. And so, but we're like Texas. And you see, I don't know if you guys watched, Twitter, but I mean, like the hate for Texas was, 2 or 3 times the hate for Oklahoma from all these SEC programs, because I think it's a lot of people are like, I think a lot of people are like, well, hold on a second. Where's all this confidence coming from? Like, where do they base all this confidence? Where do they base all this like recent, because again, it's like Quinn Ewers. We know who he is. He's erratic at best. And so I think that's where it is. But Texas is our main rival, and they've always been our main rival. And so you guys' relationship with Florida is kind of the same thing as us and Okie State. It's like, it's 92
right now it
is
is.
Or whatever.
No, I think our dislike for Florida is is if you want to compare it, it is Texas OU. Georgia Tech is more like Okie State.
Okay.
It's the little brother who
there you go. I got you.
It's just there, like yeah, we don't like Florida. It's just that, hey man, you gotta concern yourself with other things until Florida, says something, and then we have to, put them in their place. But trust me, listen, man, we late '90s dogs. We got plenty of hate and affinity for Florida, dog. Like, come on, dog. That's built up for years. Now, granted, we've always owned the series in football against Florida, but Steve Spurrier closed the gap a lot, though.
Yeah, and
sometimes Urban Meyer didn't help either.
Yeah, Urban Meyer. I about to say, like, y'all think when Mark Richt was at Georgia, he was at Georgia 15 years. We only beat Florida 3 times.
Yeah. It's kind of, yeah. I mean, and I'd say it goes in cycles, but generally speaking, Oklahoma hasn't really had that same. Right. There'll be a few times where you'll have Texas will win a couple here and there and stuff like that. But really, ever since the end of the leather helmet times, Oklahoma's really on the series.
What I will say is, I actually want to give Florida a little credit. Their fans, anyway, they still don't like Georgia, and they'll take their shots here and there. But I think Florida fans are more realistic than Texas fans. That's how I think. That's what the difference is. Like, Texas fans are still brash and loud, whereas Florida kind of knows. Yeah, we hate Georgia, but we ain't out here talking about. Our program
because they're getting embarrassed right now. They're getting embarrassed right now.
Right, like I say, more realistic.
Yeah. For you two OU guys, let me ask you a question before we move on to the next game. What do you think you guys would develop a new rivalry coming into this league? Like a Jason, somebody else?
I don't know. I think there's the possibility for a few of them. When they were talking about doing the 9-game schedule, they were talking about adding Florida as one of our permanent rivals. I think that would probably turn into something. I know that they talk a lot of smack. That's one thing about Florida is they do talk a lot of trash, and I love it. I honestly, I love it. But I think it seems like that the league is trying to push Missouri. Now, I would think that, Missouri, they were in the Big 8 with Oklahoma for a long time. They've got a long history. I think they played 80 games or something like that, Coop, something in those lines. But it's about the same winning percentage as like Oklahoma State. So it's not like something that Oklahoma considers it a rivalry. They kind of consider it one, and they've kind of tried to push that with them in Arkansas too. I know. I do think Arkansas could be one because of the fact that they're 3 hours away. If they were to kind of turn into I don't know why they really haven't ever become anything, to where they're competing at that level, really, Maybe
that's why it wouldn't be a rivalry. They're all in two different stratospheres.
To me, though, I think that the newer one that's going to probably pop up would be LSU, maybe. I think that they're trying to give us an LSU rivalry by giving it to us those first 2 years. We played them in the national championship when Saban was still there. We've played them in the playoff and got just boat raced by probably the best team ever. So there's not any love lost for sure. And, but I also think that there's respect there. You know what I mean? I think there's some level of respect there, but I think that could be one of them. Go ahead, Coop. You said it. What you think?
Yeah, it's LSU. That's got to be one that's going to, because again, I think that you can't really, you gotta be kind of, similar in substance and record. We can't hop in because Arkansas is super, super close, but Arkansas was more of a Texas rivalry. And I don't think that there's anything that is going to start happening in Arkansas. Outside of us potentially taking the top 2 players in their state at safety, with the Marion Robinson and Wimberly, that's going to rub people the wrong way. But Pittman's a dead man walking, and so I think that they've got other issues they need to worry about other than rivalries.
Yeah, like Kim was saying here, he says, "OU has respect for Georgia, Bama, LSU. The rest are not quite in the same class." I think that, obviously when you start looking at who's at the top of the league right now, I think if there was an opportunity to play Georgia right now, we would be playing this year if it wasn't for, obviously moving into the SEC and having to drop it, because of the fact that it was going to start. I guess it would have started last year, so it wouldn't have allowed for, to switch up the home and home. And so they changed it. But I think that probably could have, started a nice rivalry there if you're able to compete. But also, I think you have to play them a couple of times first and kind of see what happens. I think that those are my favorite kind of rivalries right there. Are the ones that they're organic, man. You don't have to push it. You know what I mean? They just kind of happen because there's a respect. I think there's a mutual respect, but I also think that you were like, man, I want to kick these guys' ass. You know what I mean? You get a couple of close games in there, a call goes one way or the other, and you're right there. I think about Bama and Georgia, just playing in the playoff pretty much every year for 2 or 3, 4 years. You know what I mean? And to where they were and obviously the last few years, it's the two of you standing in each other's way. To get to the playoff, to get to the championship game, stuff like that. So it's, and then playing them in the championship game after losing to them in the SEC championship a couple of years ago. That was epic, So, yeah, I mean, we'll kind of wait and see, I guess, Shawty. I think that there's a lot of possibilities. I like the idea of every other year going to the Swamp or something like that. I think I like the idea of going to LSU every other year too, although I know that's one of the toughest places to play, period.
I like the LSU matchup.
I like the LSU matchup, but I think what they'll try to do, like Jason said, is try to make Missouri, because of the form of the Big 12 connection or whatever. It'll be but it'll probably be because of the history you guys have with them and pretty much beating them a lot, if not all the time. It'll be kind of like South Carolina, Georgia, where the week of the game, it'll, like, from your perspective, it'll be hyped up, but outside of the week, you really don't look at it. But like the rest of the year, Missouri looks at it, you know what I'm saying, like a top. That's kind of how South Carolina is. I mean, Stat's my guy, and he knows this, but Georgia fans look at the South Carolina game the week of, we can't stand them, it's the state next to us and all of that stuff. But outside of that, it's not really, it's just a conference game for us. But the rest of the year, we're their second biggest rivalry. So like the rest of the year for Mizzou, OU would be a huge rivalry. The week of the game, Missouri would be a huge rivalry.
I don't think Mizzou's going anywhere off of it. I think that they might change out to Florida for somebody else, maybe. Because that was Ross Dellinger that had, I guess, talked to somebody within the SEC offices. That was the original thoughts of, remember when they were talking about who were going to be their, the main rivals or whatever. Well, they had Mizzou was definitely one of them. Texas isn't going anywhere, obviously, because of that.
Right. But like Texas will be like y'all Florida to our Florida, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I say Mizzou. I don't think you guys would ever see Mizzou as like a second best to Texas, but I think the league could try to push that because of proximity and the former
the Big Eight together, 100 years.
Yeah, I'll say this too is there were shenanigans this offseason, and between where the coaching staff, typically does not recognize any type of that, recruiting stuff, guys leaving and going to other programs. But when we lost Caden Green, the coaching staff took it personal. So we'll see, because I think that the coaching staff, this is the first time I've ever seen this coaching staff, or probably any others, really just put a circle on a game and, want to kind of make it, send a message. I don't think they see it as a rivalry, but with the history, you got to have storylines. Storylines help out the games. People are going to tune in because of the perceived hate. And so if you have to kind of fabricate it, we as consumers and watchers, we can sniff that out. But if there's real beef, then it'll get some traction.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like Missouri and Tennessee now. I mean, Drinkowitz and Heupel had some words the year before when Tennessee ran it up on them, and then Missouri tried to run it up on Tennessee and standing on businesses and all this. I mean, it's just as a college football fan, if you take out, of course, we always talk about whose team is better and making the playoffs and stuff. But just as a college football fan, because I'll watch just about any game, but as a college football fan, having OU and Texas in the SEC, kind of like Shorty said, it just bolsters it just bolsters the rep of the conference. I mean, again, there's 2 blue bloods coming in the conference, and I'm looking forward to all the games, to be honest with you. I mean, you'd have told me, 10 years ago, these games would be a regular basis thing. I'd have been amped for it then too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's recruiting definitely gets under people's skin a little bit when you're going for the same people, and you're going to be going for the same people. If you're going for championships, you're going to be going for these high end guys, and I guess at the moment, at least, it looks like Mizzou is definitely trying to be a player anyway in that realm. I think it's not as easy for them to recruit on the level that like some of the other programs in the SEC do, but they do have a good NIL structure set up. It sounds like, and they've got a situation where they definitely, when it came to Caden Green and his dad being out there and stuff, there was a lot. I think there's a lot of little underlying things, but this the stories that you always get from the SEC, right? That under the table deals and stuff like that kind of make sure somebody comes here, goes there, or whatever, So it is kind of what it is. But man, I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I will say too, man.
Yeah.
I will say one thing I will say too, that I think you guys have the right head coaches in terms of mindset to come into the SEC. And I use Sam Pittman as an example. In my opinion, he's just too much of a nice guy, and that's not going to work in the SEC. You got to have somewhat of I don't want to use the word killer mentality, but I think you guys know what I mean by what I say by that. So that's one thing I do respect about Texas and Oklahoma coming into the conference. I think you guys have the right type of coaches that can come in and recruit competitively with the other top teams in this conference.
I think that's helped that same mentality, like Shawty said, like Brent Venables has that tough mentality. You know what I'm saying? Sark knows that it takes more to be competitive. Now, whether he can get it done or not, we'll see. But he knows it takes more. Like Sam Pittman, like Shawty said, it's kind of like I'm gonna be a good guy and develop and stuff, but you gotta be a little bit tougher than that. Like, almost like as if you've already done it before. Like, one thing I'll say about Beamer in South Carolina, he acts as though South Carolina is one of those teams.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes that's the mentality you do have to have. Act like you fake it till you
Act
make
like
it.
You've been there before. Yeah.
What I'm saying?
Both of them.
I mean, otherwise you just fall by the wayside, you know what I'm saying? So hey man, I love Sam Pittman, but I think this is last year. So
yeah. I think that we met up before the season and kind of ranked the coaches, and I think we all had the same guys down towards the bottom. Now, I think OL had Napier down towards the bottom, and we were I hear folks chirping down there that maybe we should hold the bus on that one, but we'll see. We'll see what season plays out.
Point, I think Napier is. I'm not going to say he's Sam Pittman as far as nice, but I don't think he doesn't project that killer mentality, toughness that you need
quiet,
to be
right.
Like whether you like him or not, you tell me Drink doesn't say, hey, like he stand on business, whether he's standing on it or not, he's projecting
looking
that,
like Millhouse and all, but he does
hypo talking trash to Mizzou and saying we just get. I mean, like you gotta. It's kind of like a cornerback, a defensive back. You gotta ooze that confidence.
You gotta have a certain machismo.
Machismo. There we go.
That
Georgia education coming out. We see you.
Good word. I love it.
Right.
Kim asked a good question here. Which out of you guys is what you've been to? What's the best SEC venue that you've been to?
Just stadium alone.
Well, I guess you can kind of put it all into perspective. I mean, what's your favorite place aside from obviously? Well, I mean, you can say Sanford Stadium if it's you. If it's Sanford Stadium, that's cool.
My favorth, of course.
You can literally walk downtown right after the game.
Right, like dog. It's across. It's across the. So there's a bridge connecting the student center where everybody that goes there hangs out, and then so you can see like the opposite end zone, but now you can actually walk across the bridge the way they've done it. And during the game, of course, they got the section blocked off, so you can't just walk and see the game for free now. But and then it's right there, and then you literally just like our campus, like downtown. Like I don't know about anybody's downtown has Athens, beat. And literally right across the street is our arches. So like when you see the arches when they do it during the game day, that's like literally across the street from downtown. So I mean, if you're talking about like campus, stadium, all that, like I'm definitely putting Georgia up there. Now if you're just talking about like game day and stadium, stadium itself, I like Tennessee Stadium. Now, as far as the experience and all that, LSU. LSU is definitely
a different animal.
It's just I think the all day game experience when you talk about the stadium, the noise, the tailgating, all that. They're just LSU's is up there. Now I haven't been to Gainesville because we don't play Florida, so that's the one stadium I haven't been to. So South Carolina is actually better than people know until they get there. The problem is their stadium isn't on campus.
Yeah, I watched them play Vanderbilt there. We were on vacation, and I was blown away.
Like, and now when I tell you it gets loud in South Carolina,
we call it the upside down cockroach.
Listen,
that's pretty funny.
But I'll be honest with you, I'm almost going to have to be 100% locked up in with Coach I. When you're talking about practicality, meaning being able to go to a game and enjoy it, and then be able to go to the festivities just literally right across the road, Athens is probably the best for practicality. But when you're just talking about a tailgate experience, I'm going to probably have to put LSU right up at the top just for the whole tailgating experience. And when you're talking about inside the stadium being loud, I would have to say LSU. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. The South, when it comes to tailgating, it's going to be very hard to go wrong. I'm just going to be honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I definitely.
Have you guys been to the Grove? Have either of you guys been to the Grove?
I have not been to the Grove, but now I do know that's the only thing to do down there. So if you ain't tailgating, then just like
there's not much else going on in out there.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah, on the Grove at Ole Miss. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah, Shawty played there. Yeah. So I can tell you, I'm like Shawty, man. I don't think there's a bad experience. I've been to Missouri. Y'all already know that, but as far as going there, I think they stepped up their tailgating game, since they've been there. Still got a little ways to go. Mm-hmm. But I don't think you can go wrong, man, to be honest with you, on game day in the Southeastern Conference. Like, bro, it doesn't matter where you go. There's always like Tennessee tailgating is nice. Like I think Coach Rick said, it's right by the river. Tennessee and South Carolina both have train cars or cabooses or whatever that you can rent out to tailgate in. If you know somebody,
they got a boat too.
Yeah, now Tennessee has a boat, that you can do. Now with the cabooses at both campuses, you probably have to know somebody to get in. But I've been in the ones at Tennessee at a tailgate for like a company tailgate. And crazy enough, man, Tennessee fans are actually nice when you tailgate on campus. It's the ones on social media are totally different than the ones when you actually go to.
Yeah. I did this. I did the 17 game.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Y'all did
the 17. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did the 17 game, and that one was right after the debacle we had the year before. That was our whole season was just rough, and so I was a little worried about that. And that game was lit. I mean, that was one of the most entertaining games I've ever seen. And Tennessee fans could have been pumped, and after it. We were all kind of just walking around, and everybody was like, "Man, good game, and this is great." And of course, they're like, "Well, we're probably going to run the table the rest of the season," and that confidence started coming back out. But they were respectable.
Yeah. But yeah, man, Tennessee. I mean, again, I tell y'all, Vandy. I mean, because of Nashville, Vandy is a good place to be, especially if you go to when y'all play Vandy. Though, if you can go like the Friday night before or Thursday night or something like that, and go out down on Broadway, get a lot of that experience. But they have like a Vandyville, or I forget what they call it, Commodoreville or something like that. It's actually pretty cool. So. And they definitely are the most accepting fans. Vandy's not one of these schools that think they're better. They literally know who they are.
What did the first lady say the other day? They're there to help out the
academics. Yeah. So and then in baseball, that's what they know. Academics and baseball.
20, didn't they? 19 or 20 they won, didn't they?
Yeah, they keep they keep a good baseball team.
Hey,
well, the
they're
SEC has
solid.
a lot of good baseball teams. So,
Shawty, I think we're getting a little background noise from you. You have something on behind you, or
man, I don't know. It's always happens when I get on your show, dude. I don't know what be going on. Like, I don't know.
Are you watching the regular channel? Are you watching the regular channel as well?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, I don't know. It just kind of went away now. So okay, we're all right. Moving on. All right. Let's talk about these games. He said, thank you, Jimmy Lee Baker. He says 1-3 channels at Action Alabama versus UJ is week 5. So thank y'all for that. Some of these football channels can't figure out what a calendar is. Well, thank you. I mean, it ain't hard. It shouldn't be that hard. But hey, I'll tell you, that's a lot of them. I'm excited about it because I'm getting an opportunity to go to the Grove this year. I think obviously Auburn. I've been kind of watching that since me and Shawty started talking about doing that other deal. But I started looking at how they do the tailgating at Auburn and stuff like that, where they have the big field opened up, for RVs and things like that as well. And you can start on Thursday, pretty much at like 2:00 from what they say. So, you can get out there early and kind of check everything out. I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And then, the Grove, everybody talks about you got to go to the Grove. And Shawty, or not just Shawty, but Stat Guy was saying, man, you got to go check the Grove.
Yeah, man, they got some of the prettiest. Their campus, when it comes talking about women, they have problems. So it's just their whole the way they dress up and they take
them
it
and LSU.
Serious. Yeah, the whole Southern Belle kind of thing. They take it very seriously, man. And it be some of the prettiest women you're gonna see on campus.
And somebody in the chat asked at LSU, is it Creole or barbecue? At their tailgate, you get both. You get it like food wise. I don't think nobody touching LSU tailgate like because of the the Louisiana and the Creole. They combine it all. Southern barbecue. You might get some gator.
you gonna get some of that.
You're going to, yeah.
LSU, man, just that Louisiana food period is just off the chain. So just when you add in that the tailgate aspect, let's see. Benji, that's right. Fish fry, alligator, and burgers. That's right. You get you a little brisket too.
Yeah, you get those guys. You get those guys with those. They start making those roast beef po' boys, and the massive shrimp boils. Listen, I went for the national championship game in 2003, and I didn't get to go to the game. We just showed up, and I mean that was worth the experience, and it was amazing.
And a lot of these places
we're talking about if we do that on week 5, that we may not even bother trying to go to the games. We might just tailgate the whole time.
Yeah, I ain't going to the game.
I'm at the point now where that's what I do anyway. I mean, all the stadiums, have the jumbotrons, and I'm just such a college football fan. I like to be able to watch multiple games. So, and I've been to most of the stadiums. So it's like, like I don't even go into Georgia games. I'll probably go to another one here in the next year or so, just so my son can see the night lights. But other than that, I've been been there, done that. So the tailgating is the best part of the experience anyway.
I agree. I mean, I think that once you start getting into, you go in the game, is a little cup of beer is like freaking $10-15 anyway. So I mean, I know the last time. Let's see. It wasn't that bad in Cincinnati, but it was pretty pricey. But it's I've done a lot more tailgating and stuff, and then being a reporter, I got used to being in the press box. You didn't pay for shit. That was cool. You know what I mean? That was all right. But yeah, it's. I went to LSU once, but it was for a Big 12 game against Tech, so it wasn't really like the same thing. I mean, it was cool, but it was a daytime game, and nobody really.
All right.
But I didn't get there early enough to like really get to do any of that kind of stuff. Gumbo,
Buddy Rye, right. Buddy Rye says if he's at LSU Baton Rouge and he hears Tiger Bait, listen, man, that's one thing. It's a part of the experience, bro. Like you come to Athens, if you don't come to Athens if you don't want to hear people barking. They might not be barking at you, but there's gonna be a lot of barking all day long. So if you don't want to hear that kind of thing, then don't come to Athens. If you don't want to hear gator bait, don't go to Gainesville. You don't want to hear the cowbells. Everybody has something outside of probably Vandy.
We literally been talking about kind of like transition. Do you guys think you may even have? Do you think that could be like a untalked about maybe issue that you maybe could have just transitioning to this new conference, just getting used to like just the whole culture?
Well, the Sooner fans are always yelling Boomer and Sooner all damn day, so it's nothing. It's not like they don't do the same shit. That's you know, we talk about this stuff. They're Boomer, Sooner. It's all day long. They do it all day.
I think Texas. I think Shawty said it earlier about I think the way they are now, they kind of like almost fit in the SEC already. You know, big stadiums, culture, you know, history. That even I thought about that watching the SEC now on Monday because they did one Sunday at Texas, one Monday at OU inside the stadium, and all the former players are yelling Boomer Sooner, all the hook 'em horns. I was like, well, they're already ready.
Yeah. Shawty, I would say this is I think that Oklahoma and Texas, they get every single team's best shot every single week. And I mean, people will pull out it doesn't matter to most of these teams. It is, you're going to get the best shot. I think that
I don't think they want Oklahoma coming in and thinking they own shit, or same with Texas. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And I get that. Yeah.
But I do say this is we've said it multiple times. You cannot you can't go in and beat Tennessee and then, you know, think that like, okay, well, the next game's not that difficult, because that's where people get tripped up in the SEC, is thinking that team's not that difficult. And it's going to be the ability when you're playing in the SEC. It doesn't matter if Auburn's down or Arkansas's down or anybody like that. What happens is you run into the depth piece in the Big 12. So OU and Texas has always been able to, you know, really win games towards the end because their talent shows up. Well, now that talent gap isn't there in the end of the third quarter and fourth quarter. So you got to play a fourth quarter game. You got to play complementary football. Oklahoma has, when they've had their big losses against the SEC in big time games, it's because there was not complementary football on both sides of the ball. You come in with a hot dog, you know, rocket ship offense, and then, you know, a sock puppet for a defense. And so that's where Brent Venables decided to pull everything out the damn closet, you know, his first year, and build it how he wanted to, instead of trying to just move stuff in and out.
Rip it to the studs. That was what he talked about. Rip it to the studs.
Coach Rick said pig suey. Yeah, Arkansas with the pig suey. Like I said, in the SEC, it doesn't care. They don't care if they're good or not. The fans is they got something. Somebody has a cattle call, or whatever kind of call, team.
Mississippi State still have the thing where the jugs that they
the cowbells.
Still got the bells.
They got the cowbells and the jugs that they like water jugs.
I thought they outlawed the cowbell, but they could keep the jugs.
Well, they can do the cowbells as long as it's not during gameplay. I think it is. Because I remember when we played there last year, every time Lance scored, he did the little cowbell thing. So,
nice.
Yeah. So, but it's like, man, it's all in good fun. Like I say, we do. I mean, grown people bark a lot in Athens. That's just what.
Right. Yeah. Hey, well, I mean, it's like I said, it's Oklahoma doing the Boomer and Sooner thing. Right. And you can hear them from everywhere doing it. They'll yell from across the way, and you know they'll yell Boomer. You're supposed to yell Sooner. It goes on all day, and then you're always playing. You know, the fight song is playing every other 2 seconds. So
it's that little chart where it says like, if Oklahoma does something good, Boomer Sooner. If Oklahoma does something bad, Boomer Sooner. Like it's going to happen. Y'all. I mean, some of us fans are like, God bless America. Can we not do that right now? Like it's frustrating. And I'm also. Yeah, I'm also a massive person that like, listen, if we're playing Ole Miss, or if we're playing Georgia, if we're playing somebody else, and then at the end of Boomer Sooner, people yell Texas sucks. Like, I'm not a big fan of that, because I'm like, we're not playing Texas. Let's focus on what we're playing on. So like, that's a personal thing for me. But yeah, it's you're gonna hear Boomer Sooner, and you're gonna be like, I'm over this damn song.
I tell you what, looking at Ole Miss schedule, come October 12th, they got a little gauntlet to go through.
Yeah.
Ole Miss us?
Yes. Starting October 12th.
That's LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For sure. Listen,
very heavy backloaded.
And then the Egg Bowl at the end,
Yeah, the Egg Bowl at the end, yeah. I mean, before we touch that, just one last thing on the traditions. Listen, Boomer Sooner can't be more annoying repetitively like the thing that they do in Neyland. Their fight song is literally the most annoying fight song because I don't care what stadium you go to, it's the only one that stays in your head.
Rocky Top.
It does. Like Rocky Top will stay in your head. You could, like right now, man. I couldn't tell you what LSU fight song is. I don't know what South Carolina is.
I know. I
so just Rocky Top. Rocky
Top. I'm
Top
tell you how bad Rocky Top is. When we play Tennessee, they literally bring in studio speakers to play Rocky Top.
Right.
Wow.
All
week. They have to because Rocky Top is that loud. Over 105,000 or something, and wow. Jesus, they do it for a first down, they do it for a touchdown, and it's just like Jesus, good old Rocky Top. If y'all don't,
that's the only other song I know.
I told Stat Guy, me and Stat Guy was talking about this the other day. Like I say, I don't like it, but if I had to rank fight songs, celebration songs, whatever you want to call them, Tennessee's up there because it's the only one I ever remember because they do it so freaking much.
I think I remember the Tennessee fight song because I think that in the last college football game, that was like one of the first ones that started playing. And I just when I turned even Madden on, that's all I hear is the damn Rocky Top.
Rocky Top, dog, it's crazy. So it's a good move, man. But just looking at this schedule, man, just some good games on here, man. It's like outside of that first week, you got Florida, Miami, Georgia, Clemson, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. But outside of that, and then LSU, Southern Cal that Sunday, the rest of the weeks, it's not like you can be like, hey, I'll just go hang with the fam today. It's like, not me. I'm football every Saturday.
But this is what college fans have been clamoring for. That's another reason the 9-game season is so important because now you get these games that you week in and week out that you thought you would never get. Oh, I get tired of seeing them playing the powder post. Now every week you got to tune in.
Basically.
You do. And that's what I was saying. I was bringing that's why I wanted to talk about this today because there's like somebody was asking here a little while ago is like, what's the biggest game for Oklahoma? Well, it's the biggest, whichever one is this week, because if you get through these first couple, you've got Tennessee to start off with, and you got your first road games at Auburn, which everybody tells us how really tough a place that's going to be and whether or not they're very good or not. Right. And I don't know what to think of Auburn, but you got to go to Auburn and deal with everything that comes along with it.
That's why they're hard, Jason, because you never know what to think of Auburn.
Right.
That's why they're hard.
Don't, right? Yeah. And I mean, and we know Hugh Freeze is going to have something up his sleeve. I don't know whether they got the quarterback, but they got some receivers. So it's if you get through that one, then the next thing you got Texas, and it's, so you're going to Texas, and then the week after that, it's let's see. So you go Texas, then you got South Carolina. You asked last night on the stream there, Shawty, what was the trap game? I think it's got to be the South Carolina game, even though it's at home, because then you got Ole Miss the week after that.
Because it's in between Texas and Ole Miss.
Correct. Right. So, and look, Lenore Sellers might be that guy. He looks like
if you listen to today's safety, Nick Imawari, he said they about to have a historical South Carolina defense. I'm like, that's big talk coming from, 2009 to 2013.
Yeah.
2009 2013, they had some defenses, boy.
And to y'all point, if you thought you were getting everybody best shot in the Big 12, think about this year. Everybody in the conference will definitely be giving you their best shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Especially the teams that can't compete for the title. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think like that's accomplishing something. Again, whether Texas is consistently good or not, OU's good or not, it's the blue blood status. So if you can say you beat OU or you beat Texas in their first year, you're like,
Facts.
Welcome to the conference.
Yeah.
Welcome to the conference.
Welcome to the league. Welcome to you ain't shit here.
Right. Yeah. I was the first year Missouri and Texas A&M was in, I was at the South Carolina Missouri game. And when I tell you South Carolina won, they was talking big mess, bro. I was like, and it was just Missouri, but it was that fact. You're the new kid on the block. I don't want you coming here thinking you better than me type deal. So.
I'm going to tell you what, if they didn't get Oklahoma a break during that Auburn and Texas game, y'all should have been complaining Because y'all got a hell of a gauntlet too.
Right. Tennessee, Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss. Yeah, if y'all didn't have a bye in between there, yeah.
Well, you got the bye, and then you've got the main game, and then you got another bye. But you still go Missouri, Bama, LSU to close.
And if Oklahoma somehow makes it through that and has to play in the SEC championship game, that might be the hardest final 3 games of anybody in the nation.
You have a playoff within a playoff.
You had Georgia
for you. If you come into that Missouri game and you got no more than like a loss or even 2, you figure if you go 10-2, you're probably going to get in for sure, particularly with this schedule. But if you get into that Missouri game and you've got 2 losses or less, now it's a playoff now.
Mm-hmm.
It's now become a playoff. So if you've got 1 loss and you win 2 out of 3, you're probably in. But talk about even having Bama at home, we don't really know. We know that they got a hell of a talent roster, and we know that that Kalen DeBoer has done more with less. So as far as that goes, so we'll see kind of what happens with them. I think obviously a lot about them by the time this rolls around. I mean, that's the second to the last game, so we'll kind of get an idea of who they are and all that. Good news is you get them at home. But yeah, I mean, that's what they were asking. What's the biggest game? It's the one that's next. I think
I think Coach Ricks in the comments hit it. Like, especially at the beginning of the season, nobody wants to be the first SEC team to lose to OU or Texas their first year in. After the first year, it's just like another conference game. You know what I'm saying?
And that would be Tennessee.
Tennessee and Auburn. So I feel like you'll get Tennessee and Auburn's. Like, let's say, okay, so you play Tennessee first. Let's say you beat Tennessee, then you're gonna definitely you're definitely getting Auburn's best shot. Now, if you lose one of those games, I'm not saying you won't get everybody's best shot, but a little bit of the so media outside pressure is gonna be lifted because you already.
They're going to think
but if you
a little bit, maybe,
But if you win both of those games, you play Texas, all the time. So that's a regular game. Just think, South Carolina, even though you're a better roster, better team, they're still going to be thinking that I don't want to be the first team to lose to Oklahoma. It's like, so they'll play out of their minds whether you win or not. It's like they'll play out of their minds. He's like, where did this South Carolina team come from?
Right. Yeah.
And somebody asked who was the biggest sleeper team in the conference.
In the conference,
I'd still say Florida. I think Florida.
I don't know,
because I think that they can go anywhere between 4 wins and 9 wins, and we'll see. Freshman quarterbacks are not something you want to roll into to save.
I thought maybe Kentucky.
I mean, I know it doesn't sound like it, but I'd call it LSU. Only reason why I say that is because I like Nussmeier, but I don't know if a lot of people have seen him pass the ball, and what Daniels did last year. It's going to be hard to replace. Plus, we saw how bad that defense was. But I mean, if you're talking about
Tennessee, got a pretty easy schedule. Consider. I mean, I see Oklahoma. Oh, they got North Carolina State. That's a tough out of conference.
Yeah, Arkansas, Florida, Bama. For Arkansas, Florida, Bama will be a rough stretch, and then they play Kentucky, Miss. They always beat Kentucky for the most part. They don't like
play Bama and Georgia. That's not that easy.
Well, they got that's every year though. That's every year. They don't get to run from that.
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't when they play Vandy every year.
Right. Listen, up until 2 years ago, I think it was Vandy won like 3 straight or something over Tennessee.
No shit.
I mean, now that's not the norm. Tennessee normally beats them, but they did go on like a 2 or 3 year stretch on them.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a good question.
I mean, if you're taking the schedule into consideration, it has to be Missouri. They have I think they got the easiest schedule in the conference.
They definitely have the easiest schedule, so I don't think that's a sleeper.
Right.
They're picked to win 9.5 wins, so I don't really see that as a sleeper. I think that A&M you might look at as a sleeper. Even though they've recruited very well, they've got a grown up though, and now their schedule isn't terribly crazy.
I think didn't Shawty, you said Kentucky?
No, I think no, I haven't said anyone.
Okay, Somebody said Kentucky.
I was saying maybe Kentucky. I was asking.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a question
because I think Vandegrift was a 5-star coming out. You know, Riley, he was committed to Riley at one point in time, and so that was to be thought about as a good quarterback. Stoops always plays hard-nosed defense in the trenches and stuff like that. So maybe it's Kentucky.
I may have to lean towards Kentucky just because I think Florida's schedule is just too hard.
Florida's got the hardest one.
South Carolina does not have an easy schedule.
Florida is 6 wins, man. If you get 6-7 wins, you've got to. That's a hell of a. That's not a bad.
Baker's got them at 5.5.
Yeah, 5.
Right. So Jimmy Lee Baker says South Carolina has an easy schedule. I don't think so, though.
No, I don't think so either. It's Kentucky, LSU, Ole Miss, Bama, Oklahoma,
and Texas A&M and Clemson.
A&M.
And Clemson and Missouri.
Yeah, I don't see it. I
don't think so, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's a good question. I mean, to me, is Beamer out of there if they don't win?
Not this year. Not this year.
I think they love him, and I think that they know they've kind of seen, and he's had some of the craziest transfer portal stuff. But that Nichols Harbor kid,
right?
Watch out for that guy.
His 2024 class was really good, so they want to give him at least 2 years with that class to do that. Now, I would say two more seasons back to back will have him out of there. So like this year, and then he did it next year, then he'd be out of there.
I don't think a sleeper is going to win the conference championship. I think to get to the playoff maybe or like compete for it. I mean, somebody that's right there in the thick of it at the end, 9 or 10 wins. That's what I think.
To your point, Coop, I think Nicholas Harbor could actually save Beamer's job, but he got to put him on the defensive side of the ball.
Not gonna happen.
He got him playing the wrong position.
Not gonna happen.
He just let that kid decide it for him, huh?
When you bring in a guy with that's why if you got to have control of your program, because if you get guys come in and they start telling you and they start treating you the head coach like LeBron James does,
it was the only way to get him because he was down to South Carolina, Georgia, Oregon, and Bama, and all the other 3.
I guarantee you, if he came to Georgia, he would not be playing. I guarantee you that.
Which is why he signed with South Carolina.
South Carolina's got to go to Oklahoma. They got to go to Tuscaloosa. They've got to go. Well, they host Ole Miss. Ole Miss is one of those picks. I don't know how much I believe in Ole Miss, but LSU. I mean, I guess they kind of. They've only won one time against Texas A&M, haven't they?
Yeah, it was last
Where's
year.
Your 5? Where's these 5 cakewalks, bro? What are you talking about? I've got to see.
They got Old Dominion. I guess Dominion and Akron and Vandy. Okay, those are their 3. Those are the only 3 games that are easy. And Wofford. So those are 4. There you go, 4.
Yeah. Okay.
Other than that, who's the cakewalk?
Their SEC schedule's not easy. It's not Texas for sure.
And then they finish with
Clemson. Cakewalk. You can't say cakewalk when your program is at the area that it is.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and they're playing Oklahoma on the road and Bama on the road. Plus they're playing, and it's a stretch of Ole Miss, Bama, Oklahoma.
All right. That's.
I want to see what Ole Miss is because none of us have ever seen one of these mercenary teams that you go out, and that's why I press pause on Ohio State too.
They have an easy schedule too.
That's my trap game for Georgia.
Right.
Look at this. Wake Forest, Middle Tennessee, Georgia Southern. They start off with Kentucky, South Carolina, then Ole Miss. Then they get a bye before they go to Oklahoma. Or they host Oklahoma.
They could be 7-0, 6-0 going into the LSU game.
Yeah.
I think so. They should be.
If somebody wrote that out last week.
They are.
Missouri does. Go through Missouri's schedule, Jason.
Missouri's easy too, yes. It's Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, then Vandy, A&M.
Now, before you even say anything else, they got those first 4 plus UMass.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if there is a possible loss there, I think they definitely could lose to A&M. It's on the road at A&M.
They get Auburn at home. They get Oklahoma at home. Like, I'm not saying that, like when you get these teams, like South Carolina plays those teams on the road. Then they got Mississippi State and Arkansas to close the season. Like, they play. If you think about the top, I would say the top 4 to 5 teams in the conference. Let's go top 6. You go Bama, Georgia, Texas, OU, Tennessee, and LSU. Missouri plays 2 of them out of the 4.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then they get all those.
Mizzou's got the easiest schedule.
They start. Does anybody else start with 4 straight home games?
It's not even 4, isn't it? Oh yeah, it is 4.
Yeah, it is 4 straight.
4 straight home games, then a bye.
Oklahoma does.
I thought y'all went to Houston.
Mm-mm.
But you think about you play Murray State, Buffalo, and y'all at least got Houston in those first 4, right?
And
Tulane is
Houston's
good. Of course, their coach is gone now, so I don't know what that means.
Missouri to me got the easiest schedule.
No doubt. To me, I think they did too. And Texas wasn't too far behind it. I mean, they opened up with Colorado State. They got Michigan. Michigan is I don't know what that is yet.
But let's count that as a hard game, though. Even if you count that as a hard game, Colorado State, UTSA, UL Monroe, Mississippi State. It's Mississippi State, and they're in Austin, and then Vandy. Just that alone. I mean,
Vandy, the only 2, that are going to be really good, or that you expect to be, any game with Oklahoma. It wouldn't matter what Oklahoma was. They're a good ball game.
Georgia and
then you got to play Georgia the week after that. That's the toughest part of their schedule. Then after that, really, Vandy, Florida at home, Arkansas. Man, you never know what could happen there. I'm telling you, they're going to lose one of those 3 games: Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky.
So that's the thing is that if you got Georgia, Oklahoma, and Michigan, outside of that, even if the team could surprise you, they get them at home. So Austin, so Texas is like right behind Missouri.
It is. No, I know. I'm with you. We've been seeing that for sure.
Who's that second? A&M. I was just about to say A&M probably got the 3rd easiest schedule.
It's not bad either. No, I think that's why another reason why I was saying, dark horse team that could possibly be a contender for the playoff would be them, because look, Notre Dame.
Vegas 7.5 for A&M.
Even if they lose that Notre Dame game, you should beat Florida. Should beat Florida. Should beat Arkansas.
What's the Vegas win total for A&M?
They got them at 7.5.
8.5.
8.5. I can see that.
It's 8.5.
I can see that. I don't like. I don't think they're gonna be. I think Notre Dame will beat them. I think Florida will be a good game. It's in Gainesville, so I'll give that in the Florida. It's early in the season.
He said maybe I'm too much out of South Carolina, but I see them possibly getting 10 wins.
Stop it,
bro. What?
They're gonna build Beamer a fucking statue at the end of the year? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That guy is a South Carolina fan through and through, and can be delusional.
I haven't heard him say that once.
No, he told me they're going 5-7, 6-6.
I said maybe 6 wins.
Even if everything like the ball bounced their way and everything.
Lenore's gonna have to be that dude.
Go back to South Carolina. Let's see.
Okay.
If the ball back so teams that own them, but they have won recently, Kentucky and A&M. But they both own South Carolina, but South Carolina's won recently. So let's give them Old Dominion 1, Kentucky 2, Akron 3. Yeah. Texas A&M 4, Vandy 5. Scroll over past Vandy.
Bro. They're going to lose
Missouri
these 6 right here no matter what.
Missouri 6, Wofford 7. Clemson, OU, Bama, Ole Miss, and LSU. Those are losses, dog. And Stat God tell you that.
And I don't know if that Kentucky is a win.
Right. I was just giving them because, like I say, they've beaten them recently. That's what I'm saying. If the ball is bouncing their way. But I mean, if you look at the history, Texas A&M, they've only beat Texas A&M once ever, I think. And
I think they're 1-5 against them or something like that.
Right. And then Kentucky has beaten them like 7 out of the last 9 or something like that. Might be worse than that.
Right. And I mean,
hey guys, I got to get out of here, man. I'm about to hop on this clock, man. I got to head to work.
All right, dope.
My bad, man. Hey, man, it was good talking to you, brother.
Yeah, sure, all the time. All right, cool. All right, coach. All right, Jason.
All right,
see you later, bro. Have a good one. make sure you guys get over there, check out Shawty on Just My Damn Opinion. And then what's his other channel? It's the Jock and the Doc.
The Doc and the Jock. He's on with a licensed psychologist, therapist. They talk mental health and relationships.
The Doc and the Jock.
Doc and the Jock.
I hadn't really got to check it out yet, but I'm gonna have to.
Oh, you got to. Shawty over there. We had a good laugh about that on Respect Heads. Like Shawty giving relationship advice.
Hey, I like that mental health lean though, because I mean that's something that
has to happen.
It's getting a little bit. You know, I grew up, and I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday. I grew up in the rub some dirt on it, suck it up, and move on.
Big facts.
But we got life that hits us harder than ever, and man, I just always encourage people, man. Check it out. BetterHelp is a good telehealth deal. But I mean, if you're struggling with anxiety, depression, man, do something about it. Don't stuff it down, because nothing good comes from that.
I agree, man. And I've been being a military guy that's had PTSD and stuff like that. You fix whatever it is. It's okay to ask for help. I absolutely love it that he does that show. I hadn't had a chance to check it out yet, but I want to get over there and do it. So yeah. I definitely would. I think it's very important, particularly nowadays. Man, there's a lot of crazy shit going on in the world right now. It gets people
big facts. The biggest thing is, man, talk to somebody, man. Don't be find somebody to talk to. That's what you can do. So, Jimmy Lee, is Jimmy Lee? Are you a South Carolina fan? You see South Carolina over Clemson, like, bro? I get it. I live here in South Carolina. I get it, but I don't get it. I don't know about the South Carolina over Clemson, bro.
He said he's got bets on it at least, so I mean he's not just put his money where his mouth is, I guess.
I can tell you, it doesn't matter.
Roll damn tight, okay. I was like, wait a minute.
Okay. I was about to say, like, I don't know, like, no, dog. Like, I'm again, like, even the most delusional South Carolina fan can't come up with football reasons on why they can beat Clemson.
I get it.
Now
I said too. I agree, but to you, I mean, at least you put your money on it, so that's on you. So
hey, rivalry stuff. I mean, crazy shit happens in rivalry games, and so if Clemson's out of that
in some rivalry games, it's kind of like okay, so Oklahoma State beat y'all last year, right? But would we go put money on them to do that again? Like no. Exactly. That's so. To listen again, it's more hated. I think, like I said, I think Oklahoma State, y'all see them as little brother, and you always want to keep them at bay with your hand. They're swinging at you, but you got your hand on their forehead and they just can't reach you. Type deal. It's more hatred than that for South Carolina and Clemson. The hatred is like Texas OU, but the record is like OU Oklahoma State.
Hey, man, we can't be talking about Ollie Gordon getting arrested when we had two players do it too, JC. Come on now.
Hey, man, I'm a dog. Y'all know I ain't got no room to talk about no DUI, bro.
You need to pump the brakes on that one.
Listen, man, I just be honest with you, man. Like, I think it has always been happening. But if you thinking about this, and even one of the players that play for Georgia currently came on and, kind of confirmed, it's like, you got this NIL out here, man. These kids ain't going out here buying Honda Accords, dog. They're going buying Chargers and these, you know what I'm saying, these Camaros and
freaking big ass freaking Hellcat motors and shit.
Right. With so the speeding, the DU. And listen, man, if you was at before you, if you was, it is. But if you went to college, I don't care what level it was, that you was doing if you drank, you was doing some underage drinking, and you could have easily. I'm not saying that you should be getting DUIs, especially in the NIL area. Call an Uber. You know what I'm saying? You got money to pay for it. We didn't have money to pay for it when I was in school, but we also had an escort van that would come and go around and get you until like 2:00 too. But
and I just say this too is some of these guys before NIL hit, like you've always driven. Listen, man, I've done it. I've driven like the pirate, with one eye staring at the middle lane, thinking everything's all right, looking like a Wolf of Wall Street. And you get away with it, and it makes it easier to do it the second time. And man, hopefully he just learns his lesson. Every single one of these cats that have, have these moments, hopefully they learn their lesson, because I know that they get some therapy when they get back with the coaching staff.
We're not. Yeah,
running.
We're definitely not saying it's okay, but I'm just saying it happens. Like I was telling that guy when Ollie Gordon news popped up, and even like, listen, Jason, you had mentioned that somebody had got arrested or whatever. I think a couple weeks ago, but no, I didn't know what it was. Like some people, it's just in the news more than others, but it happens everywhere, dog. We talking about.
No doubt about it. No doubt. Well, hey, listen, this is really the first since Lincoln left. This is the first time you've had any arrests of an Oklahoma player, which is, to be quite honest with you, it was pretty surprising that it took that long.
Yeah, it was. It was no news. No news is good news.
You need a few gangsters. You know what I mean? That are doing.
Name one championship team that didn't have at least one. At some point, I don't care if they didn't. I don't care if they didn't listen. I don't care if they didn't contribute. At some point, listen. Darian Kendrick, people like Darian Kendrick was on. Like he didn't do nothing in Athens, but he did. Right. He didn't make it through Clemson's program. He did get released from the team.
Right. Listen, and I think
they won a chip when he was there.
They need to make sure that look. If I know anything about Makari Vickers' dad, that'll be handled either way. I know Makari's dad. He ain't playing. The guy ain't playing. His mama ain't playing, for that matter. And I would also tell you that nobody got hurt. Same thing with when it comes to
right, Benji.
No, I know that. No, that's not what I was saying. Yeah, driving DUI didn't equal. No, I know that. I'm saying sometimes you need a couple of those kind of guys on your team, though. You know what I'm talking about.
Rule breakers.
Little rule breakers, the guys that'll, they're that dude. Anyway, no, but when it comes to, say, Ollie Gordon, he didn't get anybody hurt either. I mean, look, they're going to pay their dues for what they did. If it's something that it goes on over and over, then you got a problem. But kids make mistakes. We don't want to get on our guys, but we want to get on him.
I actually tapped in with
Okie White, first of all, but I'm not going to sit here and get on freaking Ollie Gordon when we're not getting on our own guys.
Right. I tapped in with Cody when he did the live stream after it was announced, and they was all now Oklahoma State fans is all like. Listen, I was like, bro, y'all couldn't be in the South, dog, because in the South, I ain't gonna say that's a regular day in the South. I'm just saying it's not surprising.
It's a regular day in Oklahoma too.
I'm just not surprising to teams in the South. And like I was like, there was some of the people in the comments like, hey, I hope he don't get kicked off the team. I was like, kicked off the team, get suspended one game, bro. Like the first game, like that's it, right? Like depending on how fast he was going, he was doing 82 in the 65, I think they said. And the DUI is what gets you suspended the game. The speeding probably gets you some stadium steps or something like that.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have an appointment with Schmitty every day.
Right, It's but I was like, wow. I was like, I guess nothing. I don't keep up with Oklahoma State's disciplinary stuff, so I don't know. But I'm like, bro, it don't matter. Vandy, it don't matter, dog. You in the South, dog.
We all went to college.
That's what I'm saying. Like I know how easy that is when you're in college, dog.
I've fallen asleep under shit before. You know what I mean? It's how do I wake up here? Where is this?
They used to say Athens was a drinking town with a football problem, bro. I'm just telling you. So
that sounds about right. Yeah, that sounds about right. I can see that.
I'm just saying. So.
Yeah. Hey, listen, man.
It ain't as bad as like I think, and then the media is gonna make it bad because Ollie Gordon is, Doak Walker, all of this. So if he was a backup running back, nobody would probably even know about it.
No. And if there was more to do in Stillwater, nobody would know about it either. Stillwater. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is it? They are going to suspend him for sure.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying that's probably what's going to happen.
I don't know. Like I said, I think
the DUI is what normally gets you suspended. I don't think a speeding ticket does it, but I think a DUI gets you suspended.
And the open bottles of vodka and tequila, and that's where it. And Gundy has been a little bit more intense with those situations. So
right, that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying. They were saying that Gundy's been intense with those kind of situations, especially with the DUI. So that's why I'm not saying he is suspended. I'm saying that that's probably what's going to happen. One game. the first game. I think Keaton says it's the San Diego State game.
Yeah. Well,
I think if he gets suspended, I don't think it's more than one game.
I don't even think it. I think maybe it is a game. I think maybe it might be a half.
Could be.
And, you know, I could see that happening too. And I don't know with Oklahoma. I'm doubting those kids miss more than a quarter. You know, I just be honest with you. I just don't see it.
Coach Ricks, don't act like it don't happen in Tuscaloosa now. I don't know now.
The Ollie Gordon to Georgia was a shot at Georgia because he was driving and drunk. Yeah.
Right.
So,
just like I said, that's why I said don't act like it don't happen in Tuscaloosa.
No, he's not transferring. It was just
no.
I'm not talking about the transfer. He was.
I'm talking to Rick.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah. I'm like, that's what I'm saying.
And I don't know if y'all saw, but it's like somebody put out there because there's the only one that I laughed at was the EA Sports updated his speed to 82 and his awareness at 0. And I mean, so people were having fun at him because he was driving 82 miles per hour. So, but again, these things are not good. And in this world that we live in, man, you just gotta, especially if you are, the headliner for your university, don't do this stuff. I mean, it is an Uber. And now, but again, you go talk to a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid about make sure that you're making good decisions. You do it because you got away with it before.
Look at this mug.
This is the comment of the day. This is the comment of the day, dog. You win that, Benji.
That's pretty funny. Even if it's rented.
Oh my God, that's a good one right there.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you this, that's the thing about Schmitty. Schmitty runs their ass. I mean, he's rough on them anyway, but
I think Coach Riggs hit on that. It's like, those players show you what not to do. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was a great statement too, because the fact is, that's what this is all about. You go and you got to be the guy to make you got to make an example of them when they do it. If you do that, then you keep your culture the way it should be. You don't expect them to be perfect. You know that they're going to make mistakes, but when they make mistakes and you don't let them really get away with that mistake like that, it is what it is. And I mean, look, if anybody gets hurt in a situation like that, then it's a different deal we're talking about now. And that's what I hate about DUIs, because people could get killed, hurt. You know what I mean? I hate that stuff. And nowadays it's so dumb. We got Uber everywhere and all that kind of stuff.
That's what I think Cody was saying. Cody was saying on the live, he was like, with NIL, why didn't Ollie just Uber? He has the money.
I mean, there's got to be 15 different co-eds that would love to drive him around.
Big facts. That could be problem. That could be problems on their own too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're talking about assault and other types of things too. So
listen, man, you just gotta be careful out here, baby. You just gotta be careful.
But also, it's scary for these kids because they don't want an Uber to roll up and be like, oh shit, I got Ollie Gordon in the car, and the dude's tweeting from the car. That hey, Ollie's drunk as F, and I'm dropping him off at a lady's house. So I mean, it is scary. So I guess the best thing is, man, if you plan to go out, just have a plan if it goes too far, and get yourself taken care of. Because I would say you go on the message boards and find one of them dumbasses and say, hey, this is Ollie Gordon. I had too many. I need somebody to come pick me up, and you get some dude to go take you.
No, you gotta have a homeboy that's ready to roll, man. Like, hey, man, I'm taking you along the ride with me, man. When I go to the NFL and everything, he's one of your posse or whatever you want to call it. He's the guy that you call that he has to be sober. Yeah. He has to be sober.
Every athlete's got a guy like that.
Yeah, you should if you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to have somebody you can trust.
Right.
Let's get into some of these games, man. Talking about some of the I agree with you guys. I think that I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's something that they definitely need to learn a lesson from, is what I would say.
Right.
I hope you get them to learn their lesson before anything bad really does happen. I mean, running stairs, doing whatever you got to do. Right now, we're at that point where it's a mild infraction at this point. You screw up again like that, then now we got a problem because you made that mistake twice.
Right.
So
I think Ole Miss, Oklahoma. I'm looking forward to that one to see, because y'all have to go to Ole Miss. I've always said they play good at home.
Let's
I'm
go
looking
week
for.
by week. What do you think the best game of the first week is? I was kind of looking at like A&M Notre Dame is probably right there, right?
You know that
I would say Miami and Florida, like somebody said in
Miami
the
and
comments.
Florida. Yep.
Because Miami has the talent, but hasn't met expectations. Florida and Miami don't like each other.
Yeah.
I would put, and then Florida could be a better team and have a worse record because of the schedule, and they're gonna need a game like this. They're gonna need to start the year off, with a win. So I would say if I had to pick one game in the first week, it's either Florida, Miami, or USC, LSU, because I don't know what LSU is. I don't know what LSU is defensively. I'm assuming they'll have enough, but we didn't see any of that last year.
Does that LSU Florida State game last year to kick things off really get their LSU's attention this time and say, listen, we don't want to mess around, because I mean Florida State made them look like punks that
2 years
that game last year.
2 years. Well, I was about to say the year before they played FSU as well. So I go with. I mean, like I say, LSU. Yeah, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. I get that's the primetime game. I just feel like Notre Dame's just it's going to be the first game, and for A&M under the new staff, I think Freeman is further along. Of course, I don't know how challenging that game is going to be. That's just
okay.
I don't know.
Miami, Florida.
Yeah, how do we know what happens with Miami, Florida? Because that's a tough thing. Is if you don't know what either of those teams are, which one is the measuring stick, and so that's going to be interesting to see, because Florida looked pretty good against Utah early in the season last year, and looked like they might be something, and nothing ever came of it. And Utah went on to do Utah stuff. So I like that Florida-Miami game. I'm just wondering what we learned.
I was about to say, Jason, you don't by chance know the spread on that Florida-Miami game, do you?
I can get it right now. As a matter of fact, I think it's pretty close. I wanted to say it was like 2.5.
I would say between that one and the LSU game, those point spreads
is favored by 2.5, I believe.
Yeah, I think those are the closest. That's the only reason why, Coach Riggs, I wouldn't go with Clemson, Georgia. Not because it's a lock or anything. It's just because we're favored by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
Clemson could win, but we're favored by 2 touchdowns. That's why I think it's gonna be. Everybody want to see if Georgia can be what they are, I guess, to look forward to.
The Georgia's a 13.5 point favorite, in that week 1 game. So that's pretty good.
2 point. It's a 2 point spread according to the CFB professor.
Okay,
and I heard 2.5 before. So it's
what about that Notre Dame A&M? That's got to be like at least a touchdown, right? For Notre Dame, minimum. It might be more.
I want to say it was. Hold on,
might be about 10.
4 to 5. I'm not sure. Let me.
It's got to be.
I'm getting there. Yeah, it's a toss-up game. It's Notre Dame. Snap. Notre Dame's giving up 2.
How about that? That might be the sneaker.
Notre Dame minus 1.75 is what the professor had, but I've heard 2.5.
It's the prime time. All right, Vegas Insider has it at 3.5.
The LSU game, USC. LSU's up 6 point favorite. So
so we'd have to go. If you go by, point spread, is Florida, Miami, or Texas A&M, Notre Dame. Okay, how about that?
Yeah. I think either one is probably pretty good, but I mean, the Florida Miami game. Look, here's the reason that I think it's such much TV to me is because both these guys are on the hot seat, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
expectation wise, yeah. I mean, if you go
if you're Mario Cristobal and you've got this kind of talent in that room, and you can't do better, and you can't win this game when you've got Cam Ward, you got the best quarterback in the portal. He hadn't had a season that he didn't throw for 3,000 yards yet. This is a problem, if you don't get that one done. So to me, I feel like that's a huge game. I definitely like the A&M Notre Dame game. I think me and Coach may even be there. It's I think it's going to be a fun game and everything. And I think that there's some implications there for the playoff as well, because of the fact that, if Notre Dame, I think that Notre Dame could lose that one, but they'd really at the most they could lose one more. And with their schedule, they really can't afford to be losing a lot of games. So I think that if they win this one, they're going to have to win a road game. They would obviously have to beat USC.
Right. Shout out to Jimmy Lee Baker for the call on the Texas A&M Notre Dame game. Old Duke coach versus old Duke QV.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Storylines. That's storylines, baby. They definitely
right?
gonna pump that up. As close as they get to the season, they're definitely pumping that one up.
Listen, the LSU Southern Cal game is actually I think it's intriguing since Lincoln didn't want to play them. But they've got, and it's a toss-up, man.
I think
USC a point, not even a point favorite. It's a flat toss-up game, 50-50.
Listen, and then we don't know what LSU. I mean, like if LSU's defense come out there like last year, I mean, this is a shootout. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No doubt.
But but if I got to vote one game, I'm going Florida Miami.
Okay. Yeah, I'm there too. I mean, I don't mind. I think we should probably talk about it more than one game every time. But I mean, we got a clear cut one. That's cool too. But okay, week 2. I like
scroll down
Texas, Michigan for sure.
I can't see the comment. Move the comment.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, let me get these comments out here.
All right,
Texas, Michigan.
Texas, Michigan's got to be the one for me.
Yeah.
Texas, Michigan. The only one that even comes close to that is Tennessee, NC State. For one, because of the ACC, SEC in the South, that's always the thing.
Sure.
And then both of those teams kind of sit in the same place hierarchy-wise in their conferences, like not at the top, but right knocking on the door type deal. So,
I love that comment right
there. I want to see with that Michigan is. Texas lost the middle of their defense, and I don't care what you brought back in. You lost the middle of your defense. Your two plugs right in the middle.
Run over your ass. That's what they're going to try to do.
And listen, Sharon Moore. It does. He is going if he can run the ball 65 times, they will. Yeah,
but Michigan lost the most draft picks. Like they had the most people drafted.
But I think they still had a lot of guys. I think the reason they were as good as they were is because they had a lot of depth in a lot of places that were old. They've got a lot of guys that have been around for a while. So they've got some new starters there. I agree with that. But I also think that they're going to play very similar to the way that they were.
And one of their DBs got hurt too.
They have that safety is out for the year.
Right.
They had the one safety that came back from the draft because of that, or maybe not because of that, but.
Let me see who that
Coach Riggs, thank you for the
Rod Moore.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. What percentage do you give yours to and plus didn't they lose the other guy to Alabama also in the secondary, right?
Keon Saab. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They lost Rod Moore, they lost Keon Saab. Those are their two main returners they were supposed to gonna have back. So
Texas
and then
very shitty too.
While I think Shamar Moore, like Coop said, he's definitely not afraid to run the ball the whole game. I still wonder how it is having him the whole season outside of, because one thing is they were better at scoring when Harbaugh was there than they was when Harbaugh wasn't there. So
sure.
I think it's an intriguing matchup because, like you say, what both teams lost on both sides. Because Texas didn't have 11 draft picks or something like that.
All right, I mean they lost their top 5 receivers, and that was well, okay, there you go. There's that. They lost their top 5 receivers, and so they've brought in other guys too. But again, that's a tough play for Texas first. And, I got to show respect for Texas for keeping that game because, some coaches run away from stuff like that. So, that's going to be a big one because you want to see Michigan up there in Michigan. That's you're welcome to the SEC. Now go play 108,000 people up there in Ann Arbor.
Right. Like Benji did confirm 11 draft. Think about just all the talent between the two teams that they lost, bro.
Yeah. 11 and 13.
That's crazy.
Yep. Coach Rick's super chat. Thank you for the super chat. What percentage do you give yours to finish the season? If they lose to Michigan, very little.
Well, he hasn't played a full season yet. I mean, he does.
I didn't know if he was asking injury wise or if Arch would take his spot, because injury wise, I'm like Coop. He hasn't finished the season.
I think either way, he could lose the season.
Or he's been injured. I should say he did.
He hasn't made it through a season healthy yet. Right. But I also think that the leash could be shorter than what. I don't think it is so much with Sark. I'll say that. I don't think that Sark wants to play. Play Manning right now, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that he'll have a lot of choice if they lose the game. If they were to lose that game at Michigan, then you turn around and you lose to Oklahoma, and now you looking 3 losses dead in the face at week 7 or 8.
Right. Well, this is the thing. I think it's going to depend on how Ewers is playing as well. Like if they lose the game in Michigan, but Ewers has a good game, and then they lose the OU, you definitely not pulling him. Like if they lose the OU, they're not going to pull him right after the game. You're not going to start Arch for Georgia.
No. It's my take is if Ewers goes out and he has looked suspect at all, because he played best against Alabama. Like he knows how to play against Alabama, and I think if he doesn't get hurt 2 years ago, they probably beat Alabama 2 years ago.
I think so.
But you've got the fan base who is going to go crazy. And if let's go with Arch, Manning plays against ULM or something like that, because Ewers gets hurt against UTSA. That's a scary situation. But I think that you got to keep the locker room, and Quinn Ewers has been, stepped up that leadership. But man, I don't know if him popping out and saying that, we're going to be everybody's biggest game. This is a year where you don't provide additional bulletin board material. You just, head down, go in and do your work.
Now, if they lose to Michigan, like Jason and Steve G said, if they lose to Michigan, then lose the OU Georgia back-to-back, I could see them pulling him after the Georgia game. If you're going to pull him, that's when you pull him, because what you want to do is you want to give Arch Manning some games under his belt and taking those live bullets, because you still have an outside shot to make the playoffs at 9-3. So, yeah. You don't want to, pull a Florida State and have somebody starting their first game in the conference, in the postseason or whatever. So, please. So, UT fans question. Let's see.
Not living up to the standard. Would you want to run out Arch and start his career early? That's a good question. I mean, I don't think that all the fans, it's not necessarily that, but there is a lot of people in the fan base that are already clamoring for him, is the reason that I even said anything about it. And it's not even just the fans. Look, Texas is the one place that boosters really, really do have a lot
of control,
influence over things than a lot of other places.
Right. You know that. Yep.
So, and Benji, I see you. Like I just. Man, you just don't want to. You got to figure out your own football team. I think that if this was last year and we were heading all into the SEC, let Quinn have at it. But you just lost your top 5 receivers from the team. Your starting running back. You lost your 2 plugs on defense, which gave you the best defense that Texas has had in a very long time. Let's get to work. But from an Oklahoma fan with the "we want Caleb Williams" stuff. It's a different scenario, because Spencer Rattler was a punk, and he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way when he showed up and he acted like he was bigger than the university, walking around campus. People were not Rattler fans, and I think that people are Quinn Ewers fans. But I don't think you let Arch show up and start his career at Oklahoma, because OU's defense is going to be legitimate this year. And that's in that game. That's tough for your first start to be in that game, right? So you were saying that game. I don't know if you were.
To Coach Rick's question, I give him like a 75-80%, because I actually think they got to. I'm not saying they're gonna beat Michigan. I think they got a good shot to beat Michigan, considering what both teams lost. So, and if your only 2 losses are OU and Georgia back to back, I don't think you get pulled. Not unless you've been playing awful before then and y'all just skating by, but I don't know. I don't see that. It's not.
Hey, there's SEC Mo in there. I thought that was him. I got you the link right now. Come and Coach. They're there, SEC Mo. Hadn't seen him in a while, actually. Come on in. He said that because he was going, they're going 10-2. I said, we need to get you in here to talk about that. Arkansas 10-2. You heard it here first.
Okay, hold on. What's the next week? Man, we on to week 3. He talking that Arkansas craziness.
He talking craziness.
No, let's go to week 3.
Alabama, Wisconsin, A&M.
I actually want to see that matchup just to see where Luke Fickell has his program. Alabama's gonna let you know where your program stands. You know what I'm saying? If you thought you was doing good, they're gonna bring that talent up there and they're gonna check it at the door for you. So we'll get to know where Luke Fickell is if he's the guy for Wisconsin. I think that's an intriguing matchup. He
got himself a great quarterback, right? I don't know.
It's hard to recruit a quarterback. I mean, you've really got
was at Miami last year. What was his name?
Tyler Van Dyke. So Tyler Van Dyke, freshman year, he had a trajectory to be one of the best in the nation, top draft pick. Mario Cristobal kind of Justin Herbert him and not let him use his talents, and then I think that kind of killed his mojo. And now whether Fickell can get it back or not, I don't know, but it's almost like Fickell doesn't mind running the ball, but Wisconsin historically is just like smash mouth. If anybody smash mouth, it's Wisconsin. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it's almost he's changing the.
They got Phil Longo there though too, right?
He has to change the perception as they can throw the ball as well. Because how do you tell a quarterback to come to? I mean, and it was what they said about Georgia, for years and years. How do you tell a quarterback to come to Georgia when we're running the ball 50 times, 40 times a game? So
South Kakalaki, he says.
That was my second one. That actually is my second one because I don't know what time that game. I think it's a noon game. I think they got it as one of the early slots. I wanted that game to be a night game so bad. But honestly, if LSU hasn't improved their defense, this could be closer than most would have.
We're gonna find out, right? It's gonna be We're gonna know real quick.
LSU has got to fix their defense. They have to.
Stink ass cat. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, listen, I think that I like the guy that they brought in, and I like Bo Davis there, but they didn't help him out, and that was the whole weird thing with we don't buy players at LSU and stuff. It's like whatever.
They still got Harold Perkins, so they still got Harold
Perkins. They do.
They still got Harold Perkins.
If they don't put him in coverage,
right?
It's such a weird deal, but yeah, I think that's a good game too. Then Florida A&M at the Swamp. I guess, but
yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I mean, honestly, Florida's gonna be in some of these conversations every week.
Listen, because of the fact that where they are with Billy Napier, if they start off and they go 3-0. Then he's probably safe because that means that you've beaten Miami and A&M. If he gets to 6 wins, I think
I'll say he's moving towards safe. I don't know about safe.
Right. Yeah. He's got to get to 6 wins, I think.
Right. He's got to get to 6, and
except
he has
for DJ
to.
Likely, I don't think they want him.
They don't. But
losing him.
The problem is Napier plays all the Florida schools, so that means he plays all 3 of their top rivals. So if they don't take 2 of those 3 and they only win 6,
we're not talking about winning the whole thing there, bro. That's not what we're talking about. They are a factor. We're talking about the SEC. We may have a new coach there next year. Florida's always a factor, are they not?
Right. I mean, it's Florida. They got talent.
It's Florida.
I mean, come on, bro. Yeah. But yeah, South Carolina, LSU, and that what was Texas A&M, Florida, and there was one more that we talked about up top. Oh, Alabama, Wisconsin.
Yeah, Alabama, Wisconsin. Yes, we already got that one. South Carolina and then the Florida game. So that's
right.
I'm not really seeing anything crazy. Oklahoma, Tulane, no. I mean, South Carolina.
Do you think that the Missouri Boston College game is intriguing at all?
No,
I don't.
Boston College isn't good.
They lost. Well, I mean, they had a decent coach, and I think they lost all those guys before they ever.
Right. I think
taken that other job. He'd already taken the job at Ohio State before he ended up going to Boston College. So they lost all them cats.
I think the problem is Boston College coach might be good. It's just like trying to get talent to Boston College, bro.
It's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah. Hey, Street Cat, thank you very much for the super chat there. Can't stay long 20 miles before Gallup, and girlfriend's busy shopping for jewelry.
Oh,
I got to jump up for a few
out there dropping the bag.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of turquoise jewelry out there in Gallup, New Mexico. I know just what you're talking about in there. A lot of silver and turquoise. Well, be safe out there, my man. Be careful out there driving. So, yeah, let's see. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Let's see. We're going talking. What else? All right. So September 21st.
That's week 5.
Week 5.
Week 5 is
week 4,
Tennessee, Oklahoma. It's got to be the game, right?
Week 4, Tennessee, Oklahoma. This is our
Tennessee, Oklahoma, and Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes, both games for sure.
Right.
Look at here. We got old SEC Mo in here. Welcome into the show, sir.
What up?
What's going on, bros?
Look at here. We got old SEC Mo in here. Oh,
actually, no. Week 4.
We're in week 4, bro. We're in week 4.
Okay, my bad. That's OU. That's OU Tennessee week 4. Yeah.
No, the next one. That's next week is what we're talking about.
Right. Okay. Well, I just didn't want to skip out. I know we did week 3 and then week 4. I think Tennessee, Oklahoma is the game to watch.
It is to us. What do you got for that one there, Coop? It's definitely a big game for us. It's a big game.
It's a big game here. I mean, Josh Norman returns back to Oklahoma. That's a big piece. You gotta. I still don't know what's going to happen. Because it is your first SEC game. Do they do anything for Heupel? Do they welcome him back? Do they, what does that look like? Because, I mean, again, he's the last dude who won a national championship for Oklahoma. Nico versus Jackson. This is going to be a piece that is going to be, it's going to be a big piece. They competed in the AAU circuits. They competed in the Elite 11. Nico is going to be a good quarterback. Now, they need some help out there on the wide receiver because they've got the Squirrel Kid, and that's pretty much what they have returning. So we'll get to see this is the first measuring stick. I like it with Oklahoma taking in my home. That's where I feel that's going to be the competitive advantage right there. And this is 3 weeks in, you got your good ramp up for that offensive line to start gelling. So
scroll up.
It's gonna be a great game.
Scroll up a little bit, Jason.
Where at?
On the schedule, I can see LSU through.
LSU. That's UCLA.
Keep going.
UCLA, LSU.
Yeah, I think that's the game of the day. I'm just looking at them. That's the game. Week 4 is both teams' first SEC game. It's of the year. It's Oklahoma's first SEC game ever. I'd have to look at the schedule, but I'll be highly surprised if both teams are 3-0 if they don't get game day. Let me pull up their schedule. Hold on. I'll be highly surprised at that.
I guess they probably will do so. I think that to me, I think that they hadn't really tried to reach out to do something before now. It feels to me like it's a little.
Let's see. Arkansas.
It feels a little fake to me. I don't think that works very well.
USC is playing Michigan that day. I don't think that. Yeah, I think. Listen, if both teams are 3-0, which I think they should be, I think that's gotta be game day.
Who's this? Which one?
OU Tennessee.
OU Tennessee. Yeah, I think it should be.
The only other matchup, maybe NC State at Clemson. If NC State beats Tennessee, that might determine who gets the week 2 may determine who gets the week 4 game day. Tennessee and NC State play in Charlotte at a neutral site.
Yeah, you're right. That is Tennessee. I think it's Tennessee. It's tight too. It's tight.
Right. If Tennessee wins, I think Tennessee OU is game day week 4. If NC State wins and is undefeated, I think Clemson and NC State may be game day week 4.
Okay. I can see that.
So that's the game I got for week 4. OU. Tennessee.
I got you. Yep. Hey, Chicken. What's up there, Chicken? Good to see you, man. All right. Week 5.
Bama, Georgia.
Yeah, Bama, Georgia. Yeah, it's Bama, Georgia. And I also think that Oklahoma at Auburn, first road game for the SEC, is a big game for for Oklahoma as well. But I think Bama Georgia is the game of the week.
Right. I think Auburn, Oklahoma is the second game, with maybe Kentucky Ole Miss following that.
Yep.
Even though Ole Miss kind of handled them last year. They do got Brock Vandagriff, though. So, I mean, it's a lot of people expecting things from Brock Vandagriff. I'm not one of those people. But.
What's up, SEC Mo? What you got going on so far?
Man, I'm just taking in all the glory of this wonderful conversation you guys are having, man. I mean, college football season is upon us, man.
It is.
You out there laying down those 10-2 bets, Mo?
Man, I was trolling.
I know.
Oh man, no, I have no intention of putting down any money on Arkansas winning.
Really?
Nah, absolutely not, man.
He knows you went to school there, man. He gets
I mean, if you want heartbreaking to lose money, then bet that Arkansas is going to win 10 games. I mean, y'all are having a great conversation, man. I mean, there are a lot of good matchups. I'm interested to see how Oklahoma and Texas actually acclimate to the SEC based on a depth perspective, because they've always had talent. They've always been able to out-talent people. But how is it gonna go when the season gets the roughest, man? And your defensive line is hurt, your offensive line is hurt. I mean, you got key injuries. That's when that depth piece comes in, man. So I'm ready to see how y'all handle that.
I think it's well, I'm happy with where they are with their competitive depth at Oklahoma, but I think it's obviously you got to go out and put it on the field now. We're gonna find out. We're gonna definitely find out.
I would say just overall, week 5 is just gonna be a really good week in college football.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State, Michigan State, you got Georgia, Alabama, OU, Auburn, Louisville, Notre Dame, Arkansas, Texas A&M.
That's gonna be
that's a good one there too.
Right. You got Kentucky, Ole Miss. Hey, listen, Illinois at Penn State. Illinois knows how to stop the run, and Penn State wants to run.
You
got Colorado at UCF. Oklahoma State, K-State. This is a weekend right here, fellas.
Yeah, KJ Jefferson is at UCF now with Gus Malzahn.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And Colorado has to go to UCF.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great game, man.
Bruh, this is a game. This is a weekend right here. Like, I mean, I'm pumped up about all the weekends, but if you're a casual fan, this is a
weekend you can just chill on the couch and watch all damn day.
Bruh, you know what? Got all the screens going, baby.
Yeah. I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. For all of it.
That's what I'm saying, man. With OU and Texas entering the conference, even man talking about like Washington, USC going to the Big Ten, just as a college football fans looking forward to games and matchups. Like, this has to be the best year in a long time, dog.
Yeah, I agree.
Facts. Hey, week six. It's hey, look, back-to-back weeks for Georgia. You're gonna go
right.
Auburn, then Alabama, or Alabama, then Auburn.
Yep. The state of Alabama, baby.
Yeah.
I would say that's up there, but that Missouri Texas A&M game is pretty intriguing.
I think it's a big game too. Yep.
Scroll up one to see who Arkansas has that week.
I think it's either Tennessee or a bye week.
It's Tennessee.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's in Fayetteville too. That one might have a little. That might be a little. Is Pittman gonna make it all the way through the year type game?
Man, I think he'll. If we lose to Oklahoma State, he won't even be the head coach in that game. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
But what I will say,
it's not dire, huh? It's that. That's where they're at.
Man. You got to think about it, bro. Arkansas is in a situation where we have the money, but that the boosters won't pay anybody that they don't want to approve. Just put it like this: we went out and got Calipari. Calipari didn't have to leave Kentucky. I mean, of course, the fans at Kentucky were saying that
they wanted his ass out of there.
Yeah. He didn't have to leave. But to go to another rival school because of a relationship that you have with a billionaire best friend, I mean, Arkansas has money, and I think that Hunter Yurachek realizes that it's not going to be an excuse to not get a reputable head coach if and when Sam Pittman leaves at this point, because you got boosters that are willing to pay it. So we'll see. But
hey, listen, if anybody ever wonders about the money that Arkansas has, go buy some groceries today. Where's the best chance that you're going? Like they got money on money.
Exactly. And when you get in there, you're gonna buy some Tyson chicken at some point.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's gonna
definitely
be
be
fun,
there,
man.
Charlie.
I'm interested to see the Bobby Petrino and Josh Heupel dynamic. I want to see what Bobby Petrino can do with the weapons that we have on offense, with Luke Haas coming back fully healthy at tight end. You know what I mean? You know, he had a breakout freshman season before he got hurt. Then we got Jaquindon Jackson, running back pickup from Utah, and he's a guy. He's a man, I'll tell you. But the biggest question mark that I have is going to be at quarterback. I like Taylor Green's ability to run, but he throws a lot of interceptions, man, a lot. Some of his balls, they just sail on him. They just you have to question, like, what are you doing? And then he'll come back and then throw a dot. So I want to see how Bobby Petrino can actually harness his consistency in the pocket. But I'm ready to see what he can do with his legs as well. So it's gonna be fun, man.
Florida UCF. Did you already say that? Did anybody already say that one? Or
no? I mean, I think it's a decent game, but Florida, I think it falls behind the Arkansas, Tennessee. Hell, even Georgia, Auburn for that matter.
Missouri A&M is another one.
Oh, Missouri A&M, Ole Miss, South Carolina. Like again, like so week 5 is like I would say, like when you talk about getting into the meat of your schedule, week 5 starts that, and then it just continues.
It's kind of keeps on keeping on, right?
Right.
Everybody's got a 3-game stretch in this. That I mean, if you start looking at it, everybody's got that 3-game stretch somewhere in there that it's going to be just a bear.
Yeah.
Right. Who does Oklahoma have that week?
Oklahoma's off this week. So
because that's before the Red River.
Because that's before next week on October 12th. Correct.
Right.
Which is obviously that's the big game of that week.
Right, Red River for sure is the game. I would say the game of that week.
But there's some other good ones too.
Tennessee, Florida
correct.
Also.
Yes.
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. Tennessee, Florida. Who's LSU, Ole Miss. That's in Baton Rouge.
That's a huge game.
Where do you see that? Oh, I see it. October 12th.
You have to move Shawty's comments.
Sorry, let me.
Yeah, LSU, Ole Miss, but of course the Red River. Then you got Tennessee, Florida. That's you talking about hate right there, bro.
Yes, it is.
Ugh, Jesus, that might be. It's like the start of hate week right there, bro.
And LSU, Ole Miss. I mean, that was a ball game last year. Came down to the wire. That was
love lost in that. Right.
Lane Kiffin's signature win of his Ole Miss career.
Ooh, Rob 077 says that's Ohio State Oregon. Oh my gosh. Talk about a good weekend.
That is a great weekend.
So we got Tennessee, Arkansas. Oh no, we're on to the next one, right? Okay, yeah, October 12th. My bad.
October 12th.
That's week 7. That's week 7. Gotcha. Let's see.
So we got so then you
got
add
Florida, Tennessee,
Ohio State game on the road at Oregon.
Ooh, that's a good weekend.
Florida, Tennessee, Ole Miss, LSU, Texas, Oklahoma.
And a sneaky good game in the Big 12, Arizona at BYU.
Yeah, BYU's trash, man. They don't even have a quarterback.
Bro, it's hard to play at BYU though, dog.
It is.
Make that a night game.
The largest stadium in the Big 12.
Even
BYU.
Bomber optimistic about these guys. Even Bomber's not optimistic about these guys.
Penn State at USC. 2 contrasting styles of play.
Gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I think Colton-Nicky is how Colton-Nicky changes that offense is going to be the biggest key to what Penn State, if they become any different than what we've seen from them.
Right.
If Colton-Nicky is, because I mean, Coop will tell you with the way that Kansas has basically beaten everybody in the Big 12 that was any good since Lance Leipold got there, and it's a big part of it was Andy Colton-Nicky. So I like the hire. I really like the hire. I don't know how much I believe. I still don't believe in Franklin, but I think that if what they need is offense, this guy can give it to them. As far as they like to run the football, they do a very good job.
And this is a game of two head coaches that really at their programs so far, I mean, outside of winning the Heisman, haven't met expectations, and they're looking for improvement, both on both sides. I think it's an interesting matchup. Like I said, it's different styles of play too. So,
right. Hey, Mom, thank you. Thank you for coming in. Yep, we're excited about the SEC too. Thank you.
Right. So I think, man, it's starting to get into the nitty gritty now.
Now we're getting into some ball games now, man.
October 19th.
October 19th. What do you guys got?
It's this Georgia, Texas first.
I'm looking at Kentucky, Florida.
Right.
Georgia, Texas, top of the list. Bama, Tennessee is, come on, bro. It's the third Saturday in October. It's always.
You got Arkansas, LSU.
Arkansas, LSU.
And it's at home.
Florida, Kentucky.
This whole
Auburn at Mizzou.
That's a big game too for them. That's going to be a big game for Mizzou. If Mizzou's going to be what everybody's acting like they're going to be, that's a big game.
I want so bad for Drinkowitz to just crash and burn.
Yeah. Coach Ricks gave a super chat. Coach Ricks,
super chat.
CBS doesn't do SEC games this year. Coach Ricks.
Nope. ABC, ESPN.
They're Big Ten now.
Yep.
No more Gary Danielson.
No more Gary. That makes everybody happy, doesn't it?
Bro, Gary Danielson, listen, man, he was good in his prime, but dog, Gary Danielson, he'll mess up some names and positions and everything else. Now we're all ABC, ESPN, SEC network. Now the ESPN family, the Disney family of stations, I should say.
Don't forget about Longhorn Digital.
Longhorn Digital.
Ain't nobody's watching that, dog.
Nobody was watching it on TV.
Nobody's watching it when it was on television on linear TV. Nobody's damn sure watching it now.
All the games that matter will be on the Disney family of networks, ESPN, ABC,
pretty much, man.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, like Alabama, Texas,
it's not going to be. Service is going to be all together. I think everything is going to be bundled in together is what they've been talking about with that streaming service for Fox and ESPN and with Time Warner. So
right. Hey man, I'm tuned in and all over. Hell, I got the Big Ten network, so I'm
there it is. Florida, Kentucky. I know that's it'd be definitely an underrated game here, but Kentucky's on Florida.
Hey,
this could be the game that gets his ass out of there. If they're in that tailspin, that would be the one. You can't keep losing to Kentucky.
Shawty, we're just talking about big games. We're not really talking about who's the winner or losing right now. Just saying who's the big games.
Important games. Yeah.
Right.
So A&M, Mississippi State, Auburn, Missouri. This is a big one.
Miami at Louisville outside of the conference. Could be good.
Mm-hmm.
Could be good. Kansas State and West Virginia. Coos says West Virginia might be good.
It all depends on Green.
Hey, and then personal for us, because we all cool. South Carolina at OU that week.
There it is. That's right. I was waiting. But that's that trap game we've been talking about, I think, because you come off the Texas game, you've got Ole Miss coming up next on the road.
Right.
You get them at home, it would be very easy to overlook them.
The good thing is you play them at home, though.
Yes, it is the good thing.
Yeah,
I think, but Shawty was asking last night who I thought might be a trap game, and I think that is the epitome of a trap game, probably. Right.
I think it's it is definitely the definition of a trap game. In between two hard games, and it's a team that you expect to be better than you are, a better roster than. So that is
you need to win the damn game. Yeah.
Right. That is definitely a trap game.
Don't play your food. Yeah, get it done.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Still the Texas Georgia game, though. I mean, that's obviously
that's game day. That's game day.
Definitely.
Which one? Texas Georgia.
Yeah, that's game day.
Oh, hell, yeah, no question about that.
But I'm telling you, this is where Texas falls off the map, right here. This is where it gets real shaky. It gets real shaky
because Texas is gonna Can you actually go down to Texas's schedule if
Yes,
possible? Because Texas has
Michigan the second week, and then OU, Georgia, and that's pretty much it.
That would be, well, it's not pretty much it. It's pretty much it until they get right here. I think that this stretch here, Arkansas will find a way. They've beat them the last 2 times they've played them.
I'll say this. That whether people know it or not, Arkansas and Texas is a legitimate rivalry all the way back to the South.
Right. No, I think if they're adding rivalries because they're in the conference now, I've always said Arkansas is Texas's next rival.
There's bad blood there. And
I actually think that's more of a rival than Texas A&M. That's just me.
It is. Missouri too. I mean, those were forced, but I'll say that that stadium, Razorback Stadium, is going to be packed, and that is going to be
There's real hatred going on there, just like it is at Oklahoma. Yes, sir.
They used to say back in the day, if you had Arkansas plates and you were going to the Texas game, if you stopped to get gas, they wouldn't even let you get gas.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. But, I mean, it's going to be crazy. And the benefit for Arkansas is that game is at home. And the last time they played us at home, we killed them.
Yeah, sure did. Sure did. Yeah, look, I mean, I think that's a big game there. And then you've obviously got, look, to me, you're starting to, we're getting down to a time right here. The Missouri Auburn game is probably going to have big implications from Missouri. Obviously, Oklahoma, they need to not mess around with that. But the Alabama Tennessee game, that's going to tell us a lot, I think, about both of those schools too. I mean, where are they at? You know, depending on what happened in that week 5 game with Georgia. You know, and I mean, I think that Georgia wins that game, but I also think that Alabama has more talent than anybody else but Georgia, maybe. Right? I mean, so
but we haven't won in T-Town since 2005. Matt Stafford's freshman year or something like that. In overtime, Nick Saban first year. Like, it's hard to win in T-Town, though.
That's what y'all got. That's what y'all got going for you in that game. They don't have Nick Saban anymore. Can Caleb?
Well, that's why it's interesting to me. I want, because like sometimes when you go against the guy that showed you a lot of your stuff, it's like you kind of, I don't know. You play not to lose. I'm interested to see how Kirby handles coaching versus DeBoer in Tuscaloosa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So, and Michael, somebody, I forget his last name. He did mention with me and you were talking about the trap game possibly in South Carolina for OU, and you guys have mentioned the Red River hangover for both teams after it's over, and then you got. You know what I'm saying? Then you got South Carolina coming in.
What happened to us last year against UCF, man? They almost lost that one too.
Right. So
they did Texas a favor after that Georgia game. I'll say that. Vanderbilt and then a bye week.
Right. Yeah. Well, they're coming off of OU Georgia back to back, so I guess they figured they had to give them a break.
Yeah, and they gave them a bye week before the Oklahoma game. They did them a favor.
They did, but then they also, like I said, I think that last stretch coming down at the end, I think they're going to lose one of those 3 games, either Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, and I really think A&M beats them at home.
That's a good.
If Florida is on pace like we say they are, Florida would have a new coach, so I'm not worried about that game. or he might be on the hot seat type deal. But Arkansas is a real rival. I think they're just better than Kentucky, but they'll be physical.
Neilio.
So what's going on, Neilio?
What's up, Neilio? Thanks for coming in. Super chat. Just swinging by to say, hey, fellas, happy Wednesday to you all. Happy Wednesday to you, sir. Hope you have a great day. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. I wish the Texas-Arkansas game was played in Little Rock.
No. We're getting rid of those Little Rock games.
Phenom, huh? Phenom.
Yeah, we're getting rid of those those Little Rock games.
It's too dangerous in Little Rock, though.
It's dangerous in Little Rock, but there's no benefit to those games, man, because the crowds are completely different. They're like, you can't fit 70,000 people in War Memorial Stadium. You know what I'm saying? So the benefit is driving to Northwest Arkansas and playing in Razorback Stadium in front of 70,000 people. That's the benefit, especially for big games like that. Yeah.
So the next week, Oklahoma, Ole Miss.
Oklahoma, Ole Miss.
I
think that's let's see.
It's October 26th.
Yep. LSU. Nope.
Another guy here. He's really upset about us saying that about his boys. I'm gonna keep saying it there, Benji. Sorry. Not sorry.
Ole Miss, Arkansas. Hold on. What week are we on?
October 26th. That it would be week.
Okay, week 9.
Like 10. Yeah, 9.
Okay. Gotcha. Missouri at Bama. If Missouri's trying to do anything, they don't have a lot of hard games. They gotta show up for the biggest game.
This was a big one.
This is their big one for them. LSU, A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma, Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's the week of K-State, Kansas State.
So back-to-back weeks. Really Kansas, I guess Missouri. I mean, they get Auburn at Columbia, but then they got to turn around and play Alabama. I mean, that could make that into a trap game now.
It's at Alabama too. It's at Alabama.
Yeah.
It's a good week for football too, man.
Yes, it is.
Penn State, Wisconsin, Florida State, Miami. Ooh,
yes, it is. Ooh.
Michigan State.
Yeah.
Is it Rivalry week?
Juicy.
No, it's not, but it seems like it, right?
A lot of rivalries, man. Georgia, Florida. No, that's next week.
No, that's the next week. Texas Tech, TCU. That's an in-state game. Oklahoma State at Baylor. Yeah, man. If Auburn at Kentucky is going to be intriguing.
That's going to be a good one, yeah.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people are sleeping on Hugh Freeze, man, but a year 2 Hugh Freeze, I don't necessarily know what the quarterback is going to look like, but I feel like with him taking over play calling, I feel like anything is possible. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of games, man. A lot of good games. A lot of good games that week. Even out of the conference, there's a lot of
OU, Ole Miss, a lot of offense. You're right.
OU, Ole Miss,
that's going
to be a lot of offense.
Oklahoma averaged what, 500 yards a game last year?
Something like that.
Yeah.
They both were top 10 offense.
The hope is they're not giving up that kind of yardage this year now, boys. But I know that you're going up against a hell of an offense, so you're going to give up some.
They both were top 10 offenses last year.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. The team that scares me the most in the SEC this year is Ole Miss. And I'm going to tell you why. Not only are they reloaded on offense, but they loaded up on defensive line, bro.
They did.
They loaded up.
It's old 30 Golding there in town, so I don't know.
They revamped their entire defensive line.
Here's my only thing. The only thing that I would say is we don't know what that means for, having a bunch of portal guys. It hadn't really worked out yet. And we hadn't really seen Lane Kiffin really win a game that he's either not favored in or it's, kind of close or whatever, toss-up game. So he hadn't really done it other than the LSU game last year at home. But I've been saying this a lot. I know Coach I's probably heard me say it a bunch. The games that I'm more worried about than Missouri and Ole Miss are Tennessee and Alabama at home. It really is. I mean, I think that both of those games, first game of the season, Nico. Now, I like the idea of having a brand new starter starting against the Brent Venables defense. I think that they're going to throw some looks at him that's probably going to give him an opportunity to win there. I also think the Auburn game is a tough one as well, because it's your first time on the road in the SEC the next week. But I believe that Alabama, I'm not going to be the dude that predicts the demise of Alabama. Not doing it. I think that they've got a good coach. I think that if Milroe can throw a little better, they're going to be really good. I don't know. I just think they're going to be good. You got to get Coach I?
Yeah. I got to
get. Is there a game that you wanted to run through real quick before you get?
Obviously,
the cocktail game. The cocktails next week.
Cocktail party the next weekend, and then that Texas A&M at the end, because I know both states in both schools in Texas. Plus, I don't know if Texas A&M was all too excited to hear Texas was coming.
No, we're hearing a bunch of people. I saw some stuff on Twitter yesterday from some Texas A&M accounts that they're acting like they want to go to the Big Ten. What? I don't know how true. I don't know about that, but I just know, they were. I think they were overall. They were happy to say, "Hey, we're in the SEC. We're in the SEC when we was recruiting, and you're not." And now they don't have that recruiting edge over Texas anymore. So, yeah, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I saw a bunch of that the last few days where you've got certain accounts, and I think a lot of it has to do with the Schlossnagel stuff as well.
Yeah, that just threw some more fuel on the fire. So
sure it did. Sure did. They hate him. And I mean, look, man, Aggie don't win nothing. So I get where,
and
but
Oklahoma at LSU as well. That was another one I wanted.
Yeah. Oklahoma at LSU. That's the week after the Bama game. So yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So, all right, man.
We appreciate you.
All right, Coach. It was good seeing you, man.
All right, man. We'll holler.
Okay, talk to you later. Coach I from the Fan Attic Sports Network. He'll be out there in the morning on Breakfast Tailgate with Coach I. Might pop in there with him myself. He goes on.
He's doing a 4th of July show?
Oh, I don't know if he is doing a 4th of July show. Check it out. If you're not already a subscriber over there, make sure that you get over there, become a subscriber to the Fan Attic. Obviously, get over there to the Hog Wild podcast as well. Check out SEC Mo over there. You know, you're going to get a lot of information out of him. This is another one of them awesome content creators that we love to bring on the show with us.
And so Jason is actually going to be my first guest, like my first outside Arkansas guest.
Awesome. That's cool, man. We're going to do that later this afternoon for recording. Yep. So yeah, that's good stuff. And listen, I'm hoping that you guys can handle business against Okie Light. Just saying.
Listen, man, that we're gonna talk about that on my channel, man. I mean,
all right, good.
Arkansas has that's gonna be the game that's gonna determine our season, and I'll tell you more about it over at Hog Wild Podcast, man.
Okay, all right. So we are now into let's see that same week. So we're looking at
week.
Oh man, let me go back to the top.
Lost your place.
Yeah, I did. It easy to do. So let's see. We had.
I mean,
Florida, Georgia, right? Florida, Georgia this week. So this would be November 2nd.
Okay.
Tennessee against Kentucky is another one, I would think.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm. Arkansas, Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one too. And it's in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm. Yep. See, and I mean, look, if you look at Ole Miss and Missouri, we were talking about that a lot the last few, we've been talking a lot about it, is that they definitely set it up for them to make a playoff run because, neither one of them has to play both of those powerhouses, either Bama or Georgia. You're going to play one or the other.
Right.
And then, like, when you look at Mizzou, man, they didn't play anybody else that was up there other than Oklahoma. They've got Oklahoma, Alabama. And really, the rest of them last year anyway were not great,
Yeah. Missouri has, like, one of the lightest schedules I've seen, man. You got
Murray State, they must love them some drink or something, bro, right?
Vanderbilt, like their first 4 games are like preseason games, bro. I mean, come on.
I think the A&M game is probably an L though for them. If you see Texas A&M having a grown up at the helm now, and that could help and be good for them, I think that they still kept a lot of that depth, particularly on the defensive line. He added a lot in the secondary. He's a good defensive coach.
Yeah.
Look, I said earlier in the show that I believe that Texas A&M is that dark horse team that could make a run. I don't know that they do it in year one with him, but I think they could. I like their quarterback situation. I think. Yeah. I know, Benji, you don't want to hear it. I'm telling you, I believe A&M beats Texas this year.
Wow, that's a bold statement, bro.
It's in
Mike Elko has a winning pedigree. Mike Elko has a winning pedigree. He was able to do a lot of great things at Duke, but coming to the SEC with that much pressure, I mean, you just got.
How much pressure does he really have though? It was a dumpster fire with Jimbo, man.
He just got $270 million of NIL budget. You know what I'm like? Not necessarily all toward football, but man, NIL should never be an excuse. Like, talent should never be an excuse.
Oh no, it's not going to be. It's not going to be.
It's all going to come down to whether or not you can keep your locker room together and whether or not you can be a leader of men.
Mm-hmm. Tennessee A&M has accepted that Big Brother is back. They don't like it, but they've accepted it. I don't know. I've seen different, but I the other thing I would say to that though is that Twitter is not actually real life. No. So it's like, it's the fringes of society for sure. So, you get your wild ass takes. So, I would tend to agree with you at least somewhat on there. Our Moosehead, what's up, my dude? Good to see you, man. Sooner in Texas, thank you. I agree with what you guys are saying. We'll see kind of what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Montessario Elson gonna stay home with the Razorbacks or go to K-State? Neilio wants to know. Is Elston gonna come or go?
Who is that? Montario Elston. Is he a recruit?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. I'm trying to remember. Tell us about him there, Neilio.
Parkview running back. Parkview. I don't know, man. We're loaded at running back right now, but Arkansas has a history of having dynamic running backs. It doesn't matter what our record looks like. We always have great running backs. I don't see him going to K-State for what? You know what I mean? Why would you want to go to K-State when you have teams like when you can play the teams like or not Oregon, but Texas and Alabama? Like he doesn't want to leave the SEC. It's all going to depend on whether or not we can have a decent season this year. That's what it's going to come down to. Can Arkansas win enough games to keep these kids in state?
Now, Mo, I would tell you that K-State is in good shape right now.
They are.
I mean, they're in really good shape. Now, Dylan Edwards, I think the fact that he came back, that could be because they're loaded in the backfield as well.
Yeah. And Arkansas picked up some momentum yesterday by picking up that linebacker out of Georgia, stealing him from
huge,
Florida
bro.
State. Yeah,
that was huge. Yeah,
that's huge, man. I mean, Arkansas, I don't know, but Arkansas may be picking up some steam on the recruiting trail.
Well, Bobby Petrino, look, if you're an offensive guy and you figure that Bobby Petrino is going to be there. Now, I wanted to ask you that because a lot of people say he'll never get another head coaching job at the Power or in the SEC or even at Arkansas. I don't know what I think about that. I want to ask you what you think being an alum.
I'll say this.
He'd be interim coach, I think, right? He's going to come in as interim coach.
Is not a question. Interim coach is not a question.
Okay.
Although he would have an opportunity to be the coach when Sam Pittman leaves at the end of the season. But, big but, he will not be because Arkansas is looking for young blood, young, dynamic, offensive-minded coaches, young blood to lead the program moving forward. Arkansas finds its most success, man, when we have an offensive-minded coach. Whether you believe it or not, Arkansas can play lackluster defense and survive, but as long as we have a coach that knows the X's and O's and knows how to run or operate in game time situations and critically think, man, we're fine. We had a lot of success with Houston Nutt, but he wasn't necessarily an offensive guru. But we did have Gus Malzahn running the offense. And Arkansas saw its height with Bobby Petrino, which is an offensive mind. Now, when you go to your Brett Bielema's and Chad Morris, he was just a fraud. You know what I mean?
Chad Morris is a fraud, baby.
Yeah, Chad Morris is just a fraud.
He just fired his ass at Allen, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Chad Morris is just a fraud. But
he didn't even make it past Allen.
No, but Arkansas is looking for a young, dynamic coach to move us forward, especially with the conference realignment, all that stuff.
Jeff Traylor type of guy.
Yes, absolutely. That or Barry Lonnie Jr.
That guy, dude. I think
so
I don't
too.
know why. I do not know why Oklahoma State hasn't gotten rid of Gundy and gotten him years ago. And another guy, here's another one. The guy down at Texas State. It's right on the tip of my tongue. He's a stud, dude. This guy killing it. He used to be a quarterback at Tulsa.
Coach.
What's that dude's name? Come on, give it to me there, Neilio. I know you got it.
GJ Ken?
Yeah, Kenny. GJ Kenny.
GJ Kenny.
He's a stud. He was a quarterback at Tulsa. The dude is a up and comer.
That's what Arkansas is looking for moving forward.
Yeah, you want
a solid veteran defensive coach.
So he went to Incarnate Word. They won their conference that year before with Cam Ward. Then he goes to Texas State last year. They win that. I'm pretty sure they won the conference championship there. They're all that, dude. This guy is getting it done. He's done a great job, and he comes from that same tree. He comes from that Gus Malzahn and Gus Malzahn, and then the guy from SMU, which I really like him too, Rhett Lashley.
Yeah, that's what Arkansas is looking for. Like long term.
That'd be another guy that you should probably target because
you have to think about it, bro. We have to be able to score points. I mean, if Oklahoma is averaging 43 points a game and 500 yards per game, we have to be able to keep up with that because at some point they're going to be on our schedule. I mean, the SEC isn't usually known to outscore people. We just put together serviceable offenses with dominating defense. And that's the SEC formula. And we're going to wear you down. But with these teams coming into the SEC like Oklahoma, man, we're going to have to figure out how to score points. Everybody is. So we're going to see what happens. But no, I don't think that Bobby Petrino would be the long-term head coach at Arkansas ever again.
Okay, that's a good. Hey, listen, I've been. It kind of felt like that was the lean there. I thought maybe you were leaning there, so that's. But I've also heard a lot of people say, no, there's no way that they would ever hire him back there.
No, I don't think so either. The only way that Bobby Petrino will stay there is if he's babysitting Sam Pittman.
Right. Okay, I can see that. So it benefits Sam Pittman if Bobby does very well.
Correct.
Under him, and that's the only way it's going to work.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean,
I get it.
If in the event Arkansas does go 10-2, like I was trolling earlier, bro, that is the only way under God's green earth that Sam Pittman's keeping his job. But if it's anything below 7 wins, he doesn't have a chance.
Yeah. Anything below 7 wins. Kirby Moore, that's another one of those guys that everybody really likes. TJ Finley. There's a lot of guys. Rhett Lashley, I think that, with SMU, the SMU thought that they were doing something good by buying their way into the ACC, and the ACC is liable to crumble out from underneath them. It ain't even going to matter. If you're Rhett Lashley, you got to get the hell out of there.
Right.
And look, you go in there and you're 1 year in it. I mean, they won the conference in the American Conference last year, and wasn't it their first year? No, they weren't their first year in it, but there was his first year to win it. So their first year to win it. So for him to do that, then, you go in there and just compete, be in that top 3 in the ACC in year 1, he's out of there. He's got to be out of there. Somebody's going to latch him up. But I still think, to me, Jeff Traylor, has been one of the best coaches in the country for about 5-6 years, easy.
And I told a few people about Jeff Traylor, man. Like, Jeff Traylor although he was one of Chad Morris's assistant coaches while he was here at Arkansas, Jeff Traylor has still been a standout coach, point blank, period. And what he's doing at UTSA, UTSA,
he took the baton and ran with that.
Yeah, and whether people know it or not, UTSA is only like a 15-year-old school. They've only had their football program for like 10 or 15 years.
That's right. Whenever I was at Hobbs, when it was like my second job in newspapers. That it's a small town in New Mexico, College of the Southwest. It's now University of Southwest. They played against UTSA and like Houston Baptist and Dallas Baptist, and all of them were in that little division.
Yeah,
they didn't have a football team at that point.
No.
They started it off with Larry Coker. Next thing you know, they were Division I like within a few years, right? I mean,
I was living in San Antonio, and I was actually living like right around the corner from UTSA in San Antonio when they formed their football team. And this was in like 2007, 2008, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean?
They were already in Texas by then.
Because I actually thought about going to try out for their football team, bro. But I was like, nah, I did. Because they were a brand new team. I didn't have anything to lose. I could have earned a scholarship and everything.
And you think about the guys that he's had with him, the Oregon offensive coordinator. They both did a lot of time. They spent time at Texas as well.
Yeah.
These guys are good, man. They're good.
All I know is
great school. Great school.
Hunter Yurachek better have his ducks in a row. If in the event he's gonna fire Sam Pittman, he has to have his guy ready, and the boosters better be ready too, because we got to go get somebody.
Recruiting update: 995ers saying Rogers is UT Mizzou battle. Fasusi is an OU lean now. Nick Brooks a UT lean. We've been telling you that Fasusi was going to Oklahoma, bro. You know what I mean, Benji? We've been telling you that. I don't know who to believe either, but I know that I believe PG because PG talks to Michael Fasusi.
Yeah.
And then they've loaded it. They actually got a guy that is coming in on a PWO. He's a legacy kid, but he plays with him right now, and that's another thing. They're moving in the right direction to get him. I think that's happening.
Most definitely, man. Shawty said the just don't look good with Petrino running the pro. I mean, that's a big thing. That's a big reason why he won't be the head coach at Arkansas ever again. Not in a full-time running the show, hiring your own assistant coach's role. No.
Yeah.
Won't happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's just way too much water under that bridge, right? I mean, what can you?
I feel like he accepted.
The thing was, it wasn't even really a motorcycle accident, right? It was like the dude
it was a motorcycle accident. Yeah, it was.
I thought it was he got his ass whipped and acted like he was in a motorcycle accident.
No, he was in a motorcycle accident. But I think that the whole goal that Sam Pittman wants to have right now is almost like a redemption story, because I think that Sam Pittman knows that he's not cut out for the job. So the best thing that he can do is try to right the ship this year and retire, and have Bobby Petrino go out on top as far as kind of saving the program, or
win 8 games, something like that, and you win 7-8 games, and then you look good, and everybody goes along their happy way.
Exactly, and then Arkansas ushers in the new era of Arkansas Razorback football within the college realignment.
Somebody that's good, some young guy that can be. First time, head coach at the SEC level anyway. You're never going to get an SEC job if you haven't been a head coach already.
That's the best thing that they can do for this program at this point, man, is at least leave with some dignity, but also leave with the program on an upswing for the next head coach and recruits coming in.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, where were we at here? We were at, it was November the 9th, correct?
Yeah.
November the 9th. So that was Bama LSU.
Yep. Then you got no. November 9th. Yeah. Then we're
Ole Miss, Georgia.
16th now.
Huh?
We've already talked about these. I think we're November 16th.
Bama LSU, Georgia. No, we hadn't really talked about that yet.
Okay. All right.
Oklahoma, Mizzou.
That's going to be a good one.
It's a big game for. Listen, this is where I said every game for Oklahoma at this point. If you've been winning, and if you're anything other than, if you're at 2 wins or less, you have a chance to get to the playoff at this point. So, you're looking at this. You got Missouri. You got to go win this game, because then you turn around. You got, after the Missouri game, you've got a bye, and then you got Bama LSU to close out.
Yep, that's gonna be tough.
It is going to be tough. It is going to be tough. I think there's a possibility with this schedule being what it is, that it depends on what happens in the rest of the league. But at 9-3, this team at 9-3 could get into the playoff. 10-2 guarantees them to get in.
Yeah. If you go 10-2, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot. Coming out of the SEC, you're guaranteed a spot in the college football playoff,
unless you have Texas' schedule.
Yeah, man.
Right. 10-2, I think gets you in no matter what.
Yeah.
9-3, Texas wouldn't get in. Oklahoma would. Florida would.
Yeah.
There's some schools that would, but
Texas at 10-2, no. I mean, no. Texas at 10-2, yes, but 9-3, no, because their schedule was too light.
Happy 4th there, Neilio. Thank you for coming in for the time that you did. We appreciate you, my man. And he was just trolling on you a little bit.
Clock out of work. Let me go clock out, man.
Enjoy.
Do you well? Let me jump. I gotta go jump off the clock out, man. But I'll hit you up, man, so we can try to figure out what time we can link up for this afternoon show. But hey, it was good. It was good talking to y'all, man.
Hit me up.
I'll be seeing y'all soon.
Yeah, hey, make sure you guys get over there again to the Hog Wild podcast. Yep. Get over there and check him out. Make sure you give him a subscribe. And he's been putting out a lot of really killer content. So get over there and check it out, man. We appreciate you coming in and chopping it up a little bit.
And I'll see you later this afternoon, Jason. I'll hit you up in a little bit.
Okay, my guy. Have a good one.
All right.
Later. Chicken, you out of here? All right, I'm loading this up. We're at the end of this deal. Obviously, like I said, for Oklahoma's for the sake of Oklahoma, obviously we have we're coming in. I'll let you in there for the last second or so. Chicken, you got a minute? Go ahead. Come on in, Bishop Frank. Okay. But yeah, I mean, look, obviously looking at Oklahoma, it's really been every week. It's one of those deals for OU that look, once you get to that SEC schedule, you need to win. If you were to go 1-1 in those first 2 SEC games, it wouldn't put you out. But like I said, I think once you get down, Bishop Frank, the show, we got a little.
What's good? What's good?
What's up, my man?
It's you, man.
Hey, what do you think? What do you think of the show? So this one's pretty good, huh?
Oh yeah. No doubt. Putting down some bricks, stacking the days.
Listen, man, these are this is, as I was just saying, look, you got Tennessee, Auburn. I think if you go 1-1 there, but then you need to win Texas. Obviously, you can't slip up after that. If you get into that Missouri game and you've got 2 wins or less, or 2 losses or less, then you got a shot right now. You know what I mean? If you'd have to go 2-1 if you had 2 wins, but even that 1 and 2 to finish off if you came in with 1 loss. I mean, if as long as you only have 1 loss going into that Missouri game, you could go 1 and 2 and get into the playoff at the end there.
Oh, no doubt. But if nothing else,
that's not how you want to go into the playoff. But I'm saying, you know,
if nothing else, you see that each week our heads got to be in the game.
Yep,
it's got to be 1-0 each week.
That's right.
Don't look past it. Just look for that week.
It's the biggest you know, cliche in all of sports is to, you know, play the team that you got that week, right? But it's a fact, man. So,
but I love it though. The truth of the matter, we're built for that because we're always doing November championship November. So now it just goes the whole year, the whole season. Right. We're ready for this.
Listen, I mean, if you're not, you better get ready. You know what I mean? If you're not, you better get ready.
Look, hey, and you can't come up for air.
No, there's no such thing. There's no such thing. I mean, we're looking at it here. I mean, I'll even blow it up one more time here. But if you look at Oklahoma's schedule right here, guys, this is no joke. You got Temple, Houston, Tulane. You don't want to mess around with your food there either. But Tennessee, Auburn, a tough start. But then you've got Texas. That South Carolina game scares me a little bit because of the fact you don't know what Lenore Sellers is going to be. From what I've seen of him, he looks like a bad dude, man. Now, I don't know that I really trust that South Carolina is going to be that good. I mean, I know we keep hearing it from our boy here, but hey, what's up there? Seawalt. Good to see you, my man. 4th and goal with Seawalt. Y'all get in there and check him out too. Jimmy Lee keeps saying that he keeps thinking that you know, South Carolina is going to be that good. I think that's a trap game. You can't mess around with it. So every week is the most important week of the season for you if you're OU coming down the stretch, man, this first year. If you want to make a run at the playoff, it's going to be how it is. Did we lose you? What up? I think we have you on twice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Which one? Wait. Yeah, I got you. All right. Yeah, listen, I mean, it is look, we're who's going to make a game this year? I will be in Auburn. Yeah, listen, that's the plan for us is me and Shawty been talking. We're trying to get together. We're working on to do our game day stuff coming up. Hey, Bishop Frank, we're having some issues here. You there?
Yeah, but it's an echo.
All right, say something else real quick.
Hello?
Yeah, that one's better. I'm gonna kick this out. I'm gonna kick you out on this other one. I got you.
Okay. Right. No. The simple fact is right now we're starting to see that each and every week this summer is important.
Yeah.
You cannot play around, and believe it or not, I need Michael Hawkins Jr. to push both quarterbacks.
Yeah. Oh, I think
because understand
he is pushing them. That's the word. He's pushing them.
Yeah, he's pushing them. But see, the thing is that's where we're at. And I love a lot of people are when we keep recruiting, they're like, no, we don't need to recruit another quarterback. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Bill Walsh used to draft a quarterback every year, man.
Because here's the thing about it is that way nobody can take a season off or that they think they're the next one up. You got the iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're
hey, look, if you're not willing and prepared to compete, you're not supposed to be here. And look, the beauty of it is that Venables doesn't lie to him about it. He tells them every day. Listen to what did we hear from Afalava last week? That's what he said. He said, look, they're real about it. You're gonna have to come in and compete. Nothing's given here. Nothing's given here.
Yeah, no doubt.
He knows it coming in. He was glad to hear it. Look, if the guys that really want, and Seawalt, you could probably speak to this being a Clemson guy. This is the way that you do things in a championship program. This is the way they did it at Clemson. It's the way, his defenses are always like that, and it's how it's supposed to be everywhere. If you listen to, look, I love the Barry Mack show, and Mackey talks about it all the time. Dude, there's guys at every position that were, they were that dude. Because if you get an injury, because injuries happen, you can't have a huge drop-off. You can't have a huge drop-off.
Right. Well, that's why we were saying competitive depth is very important, especially if you're going to run a natty run.
Yeah.
You got to have competitive depth. There's no question.
Mm-hmm. That's what Seawalt's saying right here, too. He says iron sharpens iron. It's part of my squad's problem right now. Clemson's missing that.
Yeah,
I think that when you're not playing the portal game, and we've kind of talked about this some, is I think that he's still one of the best coaches in the country. I know that people think that I'm taking real shots at Dabo. I think that Dabo has to change his way of thinking some. I just think he has to. Because look, if you're not, and if you fall, what were they, 11th in recruiting last year? That's not a bad place to be. But if you're not supplementing anything they've struggled with receiver, their offensive line is a question, right? I think their defense is still pretty good. I like their receivers that they got in recruiting, and I agree that you have to get most of it in the recruiting, high school recruiting. I believe that. But if you're not adding that little extra something, how are you going to get there? But I agree. Iron definitely sharpens iron. I think that, and Venables says it every time you hear him talking, is that, look, if you're not willing, if you're not ready for this to be the hardest thing that you've ever done, then don't come here.
Facts.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't know. No. See, I agree. And see, this is what we were just saying about Ole Miss too there, Seawalt, is that really when it comes to them, I think they got a lot of talent there. But there comes a line of when it's mercenary versus, that you could kind of mess with that balance that you have to have. Ohio State, they played hard in the portal this year, as far as they brought in 4 or 5 guys. They were key guys, but they have been the top in recruiting for, they've got the best talent as far as recruiting talent is concerned anyway. So I don't know. I think that they put themselves in a position you better win. But I think that Ole Miss, they kind of have to do the portal because they're never going to recruit at that level. It's Ole Miss, and as far as high school. But I just don't. I mean, if Ole Miss doesn't take that step and make a deep playoff run, are their boosters going to keep paying? I don't think so, because it's just I don't see that they're going to continue doing that. And I know you are, man. It's just supplement a little bit. When you don't even go again. Look, when the service academies are the only other programs in the country that didn't take anybody out of the transfer portal, just them and you. And then my thing was when he said, he goes, hey, the guys in the portal weren't good enough to play at Clemson. I'm like, bro, you went 8-4. You went 8-4. What are we talking about? I mean, come on. But Oklahoma is in a position where they can make a step this year. Look, I've said this a bunch of times. You look at this down the stretch, and this is where I think that people have been talking a lot about OU. If OU's defense is what we think it is, yes, they can make that run. But this is where depth on the defensive side of the football is going to be so key, because you're going up against 3 potentially of the best offenses, actually the last 4 out of the last 5 games, the main game not counting. But your last 4 games against SEC opponents are going to be against top-level offenses. We're going to know a lot about this defense.
Facts.
over this last stretch. If that depth was really what you needed, what you thought it is, competitive depth wise, if they stayed healthy, if that secondary meshed together the way we think it can, if they stayed healthy. But I mean, look, the pieces are in place. Now you just got to go put it on the field. You just got to go put it on the field.
And that's where it begins, and understanding that we gain a lot of insight from the Mackey podcast, because he gives a foundation of what Sooner Magic was built from. So, and it seems like we're in that same formula. So that's exciting to see the results on the field.
Yeah, it's time. He says, Clemson, see what man, if Clemson ain't going to use the portal, then they have to use NIL in recruiting. Based on the last month, the L's we've taken in recruiting, that's not happening either. Yep, Mills to OU. Yep. Yeah, Mills was a big move for. Look, man, I'll tell you what, Emmett Jones is that guy on the recruiting trail. And man, what we're seeing is that these guys are flat out getting it done in recruiting. And they hadn't won anything yet. If they go out there and win 9 or 10 games this year in the SEC, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better.
I'll tell you what, Emmett Jones.
I want to hear what you're saying there, Seawall. I love it. He said, I know this ain't about Clemson. Just saying, no, please do speak up, because I've been wanting to get you on and talk to you about it some. So when you have time or something over the next few weeks or something, we should get together. But yeah, I agree. I think that, look, he came from Clemson. This is what kind of turned and rounded him into the coach that we believe that he is here, Brent Venables. And the staff, look, the whole staff pretty much was there, right? Other than like Emmett Jones and I don't know if Eli was there. Brandon Hall was, though.
Eli was at Alabama.
Eli was at Alabama. That's correct. And then he was at Texas before too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So, look, but they're recruiting on a level that, they're all recruiting kind of like, but BV was able to get that pipeline into the state of Florida. Now you're back here. The things that you learned from Dabo, and I think it was important for him to go do that. Very important,
And the X factors are Chavis and Bates.
Yes. Oh, dude. Oh, man. Yeah, the defensive line is sorely underrated right now. Nobody's thinking that much about them. And you've heard people say things like, they're not there yet. And I think that they're absolutely there. And the people that we're talking about, the people that were sitting there talking that stuff about Miguel Chavis, that he was in the hot seat. Bro, he went and got PJ Adebawari last year, found him as a 3-star, and he became a top 5 guy by the time all was said and done. He's added Danny Okoye, the portal guys that they've added on the edges, and look at what he did with Ethan. Ethan wasn't near the guy that he is right now whenever Miguel got here. So, come on. What are we talking about, fellas? These guys get it. They get it.
Yeah. You're definitely cooking. Keep cooking.
Yeah, listen, and again, as I said, look, man, I'll tell you one thing, looking at this schedule and going through it like that, I'm glad we did this. You got that Arkansas-Texas game in November 16th. That's big. LSU, Florida, another one. Hey, Florida, Ole Miss towards the end of the year. And then obviously Florida State. Ole Miss, to me, look, man, a lot of folks have some games. I think once Missouri's done with the OU game, they got South Carolina, but it's on the road, and then they got Mississippi State, Arkansas to close. Of course, they're playing in Missouri for the Arkansas game, but Mizzou, we're going to find out where they are, because I think Oklahoma gets them for sure. And I would also say that I believe, when all's said and done, Texas A&M should get them. I almost guarantee they lose to Bama, right? It's on the road. I don't see them winning that game. If Drink does that, he might just get himself a 10-year deal, which would be wild, right? Wild. Freaking Millhouse getting a freaking 10-year deal at Mizzou. Go figure.
Jason, should I do it? 11-1.
Hey man, that's a ballsy statement there. But you go right ahead. Is that what you got? Is that what you think there, Bishop Frank? You got us at 11-1.
Now you know better than that.
You got us at 11-1, huh?
Look, hey, that's me being messy.
That is a little messy. Hey man, I'm gonna stick with this. I believe that 9-3 is doable for sure. I think that 10-2, if the right things happen, is
10-2 for me. 10-2.
I can see 10-2 happening. I really can. But I think that you have to have some things go your way, and we've talked about this. I think they can go their way. If their defense is what we think it is, then this could happen for sure. I think the sky's kind of the limit there.
And then the actual snapshot would be the Tennessee game.
He disowned
how we do in the Tennessee game will give us a snapshot of where we're at. So,
Mars Jams, I know you guys aren't the ones doing it. I know my audience. I'd be wearing y'all's asses out if it was y'all. It was you know better. I know better than that. I know. I was glad that you told me that. I was glad that you told me that because I didn't know it. 11-1, pissed off Sooners. Yeah, that'd be a great year.
It would be a great year, but understanding if any of those young men are listening, it can be done, but you gotta put in work, and you gotta each and every week. I don't care if you're the backup, the third string.
Got to take a swing.
It cannot drop off.
That's right.
If you're gonna do that, it cannot drop off.
Yeah, I mean, you have to your job. I mean, it sounds like the stupidest thing in the world, but I mean, this what it worked for the Patriots all those years. Do your damn job. That's what you got to do. And I agree. I think that that's the thing. But I mean, how long we've heard it so many times that we got a drinking game over it. That's where we are at this point. That we got a drinking game over the competitive depth. That's what we say all the time. And he's not wrong. It's the most important thing that you could possibly do is have your competitive depth and make sure that you got guys that are going to take care of it all. Speaking of our official show merchandise, we got the coach shirt up there. We've got our competitive depth.
Yes.
Our horns down as well. HOFmedia.us/pod-merch. Look, guys, this is the more we get into this, the more. I mean, I've stayed real steady here that 9-3, 10-2 is what I'm looking at. I like that idea to get to that point. At this point, I think that I could see that. I could see 10-2. I could see better, but I think that they're going to have to do some things. First off, Jackson Arnold has to be seasoned right now for them to get to 10 wins. He has to be seasoned. He's going to have to play, and then the defense is going to have to do its thing. If the defense can do its part and be in a top 20 unit in the country even, and then all you really have to do is be a top 30 offense, and you're going to run through this thing and have an opportunity.
JFA just has to make sure he knows the offense inside and out, and he knows his checks.
Yeah.
And so
I agree. There's that pod merch for that competitive depth stuff there. HOFmedia.us/pod-merch. Oklahoma versus the world. You can get your 4-peat gear as well. And then, of course, you have your special message for Texas fans as well. Make sure you jump on there and check all that stuff out. It's really good stuff. We'll have another video coming up. I'm going to be jumping on with SEC Mo here in just a bit as well. But look, guys, closing out the year, you got Texas A&M for the first time in 12 years as well. That would be, hey, I know everybody just thinks that Texas is going to walk on them. It's in their house. I don't believe that. But I think even if Texas wins, it's not going to be. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. One of the better games of the year. Arkansas, Missouri. The Egg Bowl is always fun. But then Oklahoma, LSU to close out the season after. That's a heck of a game, dude. On the road, LSU. I'm excited about that. And then, of course, you got the Iron Bowl that weekend as well. Iron Bowl and yeah, good stuff.
Gumbo.
Clemson, South Carolina for our boy Seawalt. Clemson, South Carolina. First year in the SEC, I say 9-3. I'd love OU to come in and go 11-1, but people don't forget the years of SEC fans. Nah, listen, and the thing is, it's to come in and just expect that. I mean, look, even though I believe that they're building and they've got talent that I don't think a lot of people are giving them the amount of credit for the talent that they have here in the room, in each room, and the depth that they have. But the fact of the matter is that, it's like they talk about. It's not necessarily the big games. And which you have these back-to-back weeks. You look at this. I said, at the very first of this video, what somebody asked, what's the biggest game for OU? It's every game from Tennessee on. It's each week from Tennessee on. That's a long ways to get through. We're talking about 9 weeks that you got to put your best foot forward. We hadn't really, listen, they went 10-2 in the regular season last year. We're talking about the Big 12, but they shouldn't have lost the 2. You can blame the coaching if you want. I do. In the end, you got to find a way. The coaching, if there's still a coaching learning curve, then it's time for you to flatten that curve for Coach V and his crew. They got to do it. In the end, the players they're the ones that have to get it done. We're gonna beat the shit out of Mizzou.
No doubt. Team 130.
We earned their
keep your eyes up and keep stacking days.
Yeah, you have to. And I think, listen, here's the thing that I do believe. And Seawall, I know you'll back me on this, is that you don't see a lot of these, and now having Zach Alley there to be, running everything for Venables, frees Venables up to be able to be more involved in the entirety of the team, doing his job as the CEO, knowing that he could trust Zach Alley. And these players, the expectations are there. The expectations from them are there. I think that they're going to be ready from week to week.
I put it like this. I know
I'm not saying they're going to win every week. They're going to be ready from every week.
Right. I believe the coaching staff that they have assembled, plus the young men that they have acquired and have brought in, they believe in the full philosophy of Smitty built and being able to go through the fire each and every week.
Yeah.
So all we can do is go, one play at a time, one game at a time.
I'm with you. And here's the one thing that I would also say, that I don't think that the only way to judge what we see from this football team is by just wins and losses here. The difference in what this program is today as compared to when he got here, they're playing different. The culture's different in the locker room. Yeah, the wins will come. I think that's the reason that they gave him this extension. They want them to go. I think another reason they wanted him to go in there not feeling any kind of stress, that we believe in you. This is our commitment to you we're going to re-up it to 6, leave it at 6 years. And so, look, man, people can say what they want. I think there was a simple reason for why they did that. Brent's mentality was the perfect fit to move into the SEC. I think OU would struggle with any other head coach. Yes, we know for sure that the best thing that ever happened to Oklahoma was Lincoln slithering away in the middle of the night.
That's an understatement.
No two ways around it. They were not going to be ready otherwise. I could maybe see if, I think that it was between him and Lanning when it all came down to it. And listen, I've kind of been hard on Lanning because I think that they give him I just think they give him a little more credit than he deserves for what he took over versus what Brent took over, right? That part is going to work itself out. But I also think that he's done a very good job there as well with the recruiting side of it and him being a part of Kirby's staff and also Nick Saban's staff. His trajectory is going the right way. But I think that this was the right hire for them. This is the only job that Brent Venables wanted. And so I think it was the right move. I think that you go in there and, you now know that Joe C is glad that you're there. Regardless of what happened at the end of the year last year, he likes where you're headed, the direction you're taking this program. Now take the step. Let's go. So
yeah, no, I will say this: we're in for one heck of a season. Because the simple fact is now these young men have been waiting for this moment, and now they know what they're building for. And not only that, just think back when BV took a hold. A lot of the players were playing 90% of the snaps. Now we got competitive depth. If nothing else, that's worthy of an extension. Being able to go from that to be able to have competitive depth.
Facts. I agree. No doubt about it.
Nothing else needs to be said. And if they want to blow it up, hey, documentation beat conversation. We'll prove it on the field.
Yes, sir. Bishop Frank, I appreciate you coming in. Folks, I appreciate everybody coming in. We're going to hit 3 hours.
I appreciate it. Big salute.
Hey, I appreciate everybody coming in. Seawalt, thanks for jumping on here as well. Mars Jams. Man, we've had a lot of folks in here. Our Moosehead, of course, appreciate you always coming in here. Bishop Frank, as usual.
Yeah. Wipe your feet, you guys, on the way out and share.
Make sure you wipe their feet on the way out. Absolutely. Jimmy Lee Baker, thank you for hanging out with us today, man. We appreciate you. Benji, Shawty, thanks for dropping in. Rob, appreciate you as well. Let's see. Keaton Galactodone, our boy there. Our Moosehead Chicken, Fatty. Neilio from KC Mo, our boy there. Let's see who else we got. I know we had Kimberly K was in here as well. Sharpshooter Podcast, thanks for coming in. Brinsky, Michael Deesh. What else we got? Sooner in Texas. Coach Ricks, my man, appreciate you as always for coming in as well. Thank you guys for the super chats. Mom, thank you for showing up in here also. As I said, Jimmy Lee, let's see, Charlie. Thank you guys. Hey, you invited us kind of getting, so there's a reason why it's the holy grail of tailgating. We absolutely want to get down there. I meant to try to say that to you earlier, but we were in the middle of it. But yeah, Stink Ass Cat, Keaton, Coach Ricks. Let's see. I think we pretty much got it. Kim. I don't see Hankster. Was Hankster in here today? Did I just miss him? Maybe we did. Wave on Wave. Let's see who else we got. Wave on Wave was talking that yang too. All right, guys. We appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us. We will be back here Thursday. No, you know what? For the holiday, we may or may not. I may pop in here. Just kind of depends on what's all going on here in the next day or so. But I may pop in and check in on everybody. Get over there and check us out. Check me out on the Hogwild podcast with SEC Mo. I don't know when they'll put it out, but we're going to record something here in about 20 minutes, I believe. So get over there and check us out. Be looking for that. You got to make sure you're subscribe to that channel. Make sure you hit them notifications. Check them out as well. But and then you can always check us out here later on. I've got another couple of videos that I'm just video stuff that I'll be dropping over the holiday as well. But again, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. JC Lamb, you're another one that was in here. I appreciate you, my friend. Good to see everybody in here as well. Stephen G. Man, yeah. Hey, man, we couldn't do this without all you guys. We really, really appreciate everybody coming in, and we will definitely see you on the next one.